Gonzalez is suing her sister, Myra Gonzalez, for driving her truck while she was in jail and for a loan so she could take a vacation.
All rise.
Yes, this is case number 177 on the calendar in the matter of Gonzalez versus Gonzalez. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
What's your first name?
Marty.
And yours?
Myra.
Your mother liked M's?
Yes, she did.
All of us.
All
7 of us.
All M's?
Well, 5 kids and the 2 parents, all M's. 7.
All M's. According to the complaint, you made a loan to your sister when she was having some difficulty in the amount of $2,500. You want that money back. And then you were incarcerated for a period of about 2 months and claimed that she used a truck that belonged to you without your permission, and she wrecked it. You were paid by the insurance company for your wrecked truck, but you believe that she should compensate you for the time that she used the truck without your permission.
Correct.
Ms. Gonzalez says that she had your permission to drive the truck and that the $2,500 that she acknowledges that you gave her was a gift because you were a sister and helping her out. First, because I'm a curious person, what were you in jail for?
I had a confrontation with the school official, and with 9/11, they consider that a terrorist threat anytime you fight with the official.
Is that the first time you were incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Must have been some confrontation.
It was.
Was it about you or about a child?
My children. I wanted to take them out of school, and they wouldn't let me.
Why?
Their dad has primary custody, and he instructed the school officials not to let me take them without his permission. But that was the day that I was supposed to have them. He called the school, told them not to let them
go with you.
With me, correct.
Got it. Satisfied my curiosity. Mm-hmm. So you were incarcerated for 60 days.
Correct.
Now, prior to that, you told me that in your complaint that you made a loan to your sister. Tell me about the loan.
Well, it was against my best wishes. I was incarcerated. I had only contact with my older sister, Maria, who's sitting over there.
So you made this loan to her while you were in jail?
Correct. While I was down, depressed, upset.
Well, tell me about that.
During the time I was being incarcerated, my sister Myra and her husband had refinanced their home for $40,000. I guess it was a surprise to her, but he took off with the $40,000 and her best friend, who he had been seeing for a year, and she used to take care of her son while they used to go out together. So anyway.
That's a lot of information that I really didn't need.
Okay, so my sister Maria asked me on 2 different occasions that Myra had no money and no car, and she was going to be out in the street because she lost her job because she was depressed and upset and all that. So even though I told my sister I don't want to do it, I know what's going to happen, my sister Maria kept coaxing and pushing. You're the only one that can help her. You're the only one. I had no job. I'd been fired. I was in jail, but yet I was the only one of 5 kids who could help her. So I did it.
You must
have
had money from something. Where did you have the money from?
I always have savings. I'm an auditor. I'm an accountant. I always have a little stashed away.
So you were in jail at the time that this agreement was made?
Correct.
But so far, you're just telling me that you had conversations with your older sister. You're the older sister?
Yes.
Nothing with the defendant?
Correct. Until after I got out of jail.
Okay. So I want you to tell me how you got the money to your sister.
My sister Maria, I was out in between the 60 days. I gave her my savings.
What do you mean you were out?
I went in twice because I had a little problem with the roommate, so we were both taken to jail. But anyway, they took me back on the first offense. So during that time, I gave my sister permission. I gave her power of attorney to take care of my business while I was incarcerated because I didn't want...
You gave your older sister that authority?
Yes, and I gave her my money to put in her bank account to pay my bills while I was incarcerated because I didn't know how long they were going to keep me there. I didn't want anything to be repossessed or foreclosed on.
Okay, do you have that power of attorney? Do you have all the paperwork?
No, I don't have the power of attorney. I didn't think I was going to need that part. No, ma'am.
You have a check?
Yes, I have a check register that shows...
I don't want to see the check register. I want to see your return check.
That would have been with my sister Maria, and I asked her to get them. She never got them to me, but I don't think either one are denied the fact that she did take the money.
I want to see a bank statement showing that the $2,500 was taken out. The check register is not proof of anything.
I asked her.
You're an accountant.
Yes,
You're an auditor.
Correct. But it wasn't in my hands. It was her account that she was in charge of.
Just a second. They had to take the money out of your account, madam, in order to put it in her account.
No, I took it out myself while I was out in the middle of my 60 days.
Show me from your account. Just show me from your account, Miss Gonzalez. Show me from your account that you took out money. I understand that she doesn't have to bring proof because she doesn't have to prove anything to her account. But your check register is not proof of anything. I could write something down in a check register and never have
That's
check
true.
that.
That's correct.
Right. So show me.
I don't have that because I didn't think that they weren't disputing the fact that I actually.
I need it.
I don't have it, ma'am. I don't have that part. I don't have that.
Well, that's a big part. That's the main part of your lawsuit. It would seem to me that you would bring all of that information. It sure does. Now, let's get to the truck. When did you take physical possession of this truck?
When she was incarcerated. The reason I took it is because she had sold the truck to one of her tenants, and I happened to get the truck because she told my sister, I need the truck back and the expedition. So I went out of my way, brought her expedition back because, I mean, she didn't know what was going on with that. And
well, how could you take it back if you just told me she sold it to one of her tenants?
Because she told my sister that she didn't remember selling it to this one person. And he gave me the pink slip. He said, yes, Marty did sell it to me. Well, obviously she's saying no, he didn't want no problems.
So you're telling me that this tenant of Miss Gonzalez's said to you, here's the pink slip. She gave it to me for the truck that we're talking about, which means he had to have given us some money.
Well, I believe so too, but Marty told my older sister she didn't sell him the truck.
Well, and how would he get the pink slip?
Exactly, that's what I say. Well,
how much did you get for this truck?
I didn't. One of my roommates.
No. Listen to me very carefully. In insurance.
$92.37.
What kind of truck was it?
It was a 95 Chevy double cab 4-wheel drive Silverado.
11 years old. Did you owe any money on it?
No, I didn't.
So you got $9,237, right? What do you want from your sister?
I'm not asking her for the money for the truck. She took my vehicle for 4 months without paying me any money, no rent.
You were only in jail for 2 months.
Correct. So she took my vehicle without my permission. She drove it. She had no car. So I think she should pay a rental fee. I never sold it to my roommate. You know, you don't always know the person 100% who you're renting a room to. So anyway, he was doing all kinds of dealings while I was incarcerated after the fact.
About it. I'm just trying to figure out who the players are in this case. And it's coming around very quickly who the players are.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Then why didn't you get it back?
I was in disarray myself, being incarcerated.
Miss Gonzalez, I don't think you've been in disarray for a minute in your life.
And later today,
You have to be drug tested in order to drive a truck.
Why do you think I'm on drugs?
claims her sister, Myra Gonzalez, drove her truck without permission. Marty also says Myra owes for a loan to take a vacation.
You did not have a contract with your sister.
No, I did not.
You did not have a rental agreement with your sister.
No, I did not.
And there is not a question in my mind that her use of the car did not devalue it for insurance purposes. Because if she took your car without permission, right?
Correct.
And if you told the police that she took your car without permission, your insurance company might very well have disclaimed on the policy and not paid you your $10,000. So you must have indicated that there was somebody driving your car who had permission to drive it. It was your sister. Didn't you tell that to the insurance company?
No, I told them that she was driving it. One of her...
Just a second. You told them that she was driving it. And did you tell your insurance company, by the way, who's your insurance company?
Liberty Mutual.
Did you tell Liberty Mutual that it was your sister?
Yes.
Did you tell Liberty Mutual that you had filed a claim with the police that your car had been stolen or taken without your permission?
No, ma'am.
You didn't tell them that?
No.
Well, why didn't you tell them that? If that's what you're telling me now, why didn't you tell them that your car had been stolen, taken without your permission?
Well, I knew where it was, but it was still without my authority.
Then why didn't you get it back?
I was in disarray myself, being incarcerated.
Miss Gonzalez, I don't think you've been in disarray for a minute in your life. I think that you're in very much control of what goes on around you. You got paid almost $10,000 for this truck.
But that's to replace it, not for her renting of it.
She didn't rent it. You had no rental agreement with her. And you had adequate opportunity once you got out of jail after 60 days to get it back if you wanted it back. The case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
My sister is used to taking advantage of people.
From day one, she's always been greedy.
And she goes around boasting about all the cheating
It's just her way of being.
and lying that she does to other people.
It has to be her way or no way.
I loaned her the money. I was the only one there to loan her money.
She helped me out. I also helped her out when she was incarcerated.
And this is how I get treated. I don't get a dime back.
Even till this day, she hasn't even said, oh, thank you for coming down.
So since I was the good guy, then I guess I got to pay for it, not once but twice.
It's just a win-win situation always for her.
Oh, I don't want to have any dealings with her.
I have no idea. Time will tell.
I hate to say what I would tell her if I saw her right in front of my face.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Oric versus Galvin. Step forward, please.
18-year-old Justin Oric is suing his former friend, 19-year-old Drew Galvin, for knocking over his Ninja motorcycle. Drew says the bike was parked in the wrong spot.
Mr. Oric, you were at a party in the defendant which you had driven to the party. Mr. Galvin says that the motorcycle was in fact damaged, but it was your fault because you parked it in the wrong place. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me what happened, Mr. Oric.
I got off work about 9 o'clock. I called my friends, and they all said they were over at some girl's house, so I got directions over there. And I pulled up over there.
On your motorcycle?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of motorcycle is it?
It's a 1997 ZX7R Ninja 750.
Sounds very impressive. How much did you pay for it, sir?
About $3,500.
When did you purchase it?
In August of '05.
Okay.
I parked it, and he was sitting on the back of his car, and he was pretty intoxicated, and he let me know that. And
How did he let you know that?
Well, I shook his hand. He's like, "How's it going?" He's like, I could smell it. And he's like, "I'm pretty drunk," And I was just like, all right, whatever, that's fine. And I walked into the house because that's where pretty much everyone was. And I was sitting in there talking, and everybody heard this crash. I got up and ran over to the door. I noticed my motorcycle laying on the ground. He was over there trying to pick it up. Helmet was rolling around in a big puddle of water, and trying to figure out what was going on. He said he was sitting on it, and it fell over on one side, and that he went to pick it up, and it fell over the kickstand onto the other side, and that's the crash that we heard. And I just told him I wanted the money and everything, and he was intoxicated, so he got all mad and started trying to fight. He's like, "I'll fight you over it right now."
What were you going to fight him over, sir?
I never said that, but that's beside the point.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
19 is too young to have any children, sir. You have to find something else to do other than drink and make babies.
Yes, ma'am.
Go to the library. Expand your mind.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Justin Oric claims former friend Drew Galvin knocked over his Ninja motorcycle. Drew claims the bike was illegally parked.
Why were you so drunk?
Actually,
How old are you?
I'm 19 years old. That's what's so silly about
You're
this
19,
whole thing.
just a second.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to be in control of this courtroom, Mr. Galvin, you or me?
You.
Right, so first stand up and take your hands off the table. Very good. You're 19, you can stand on your own 2 feet. That would be perfect. So why would a 19-year-old boy get so drunk? Is there nothing else to do in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing there. There's cows and, people with nothing to do.
So they drink?
The majority of them, yes.
You drink?
On occasions, yes.
Well, but you were drinking on May 6th.
Yeah, I had a little.
Did you go to school? Do you work? What do you do to
Yes,
occupy
ma'am.
yourself?
I
What-
work.
You work for whom?
Razorback Car Wash in Bryant for right now, but
I didn't understand a word you said.
Razorback Car Wash in Bryant.
Razorback Car Wash. Okay, for right now.
Yes, ma'am.
How long?
Actually, whenever I get back, I'm going to be in the heat and air business. I've already got a job.
Great. And you're going to stay in Benton?
Me and my fiance are trying to figure that out now.
You're 19 and you have a fiancé.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have any children, do you?
No, ma'am.
None expected.
No, ma'am. We were pregnant but had a miscarriage.
19 is too young to have any children, sir. You have to find something else to do other than drink and make babies.
Yes, ma'am.
Go to the library. Do they have a library in Benton?
Yes, ma'am. There actually is. I've been there quite a few times.
Have you? How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
times?
I'd say whenever I was in school, about almost every other weekend.
You mean when you stopped going to school, you stopped going to the library?
No, ma'am. I started working a lot.
Well, but you still have time. You had time to get drunk, sir. I would suggest you spend your time in the library. You had time to make a baby, right? You have time to go to the library. There are other things that you can do
Yes, ma'am.
other than drinking and procreating at age 19. You can expand your mind, expand your horizons,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Galvin. Now, you don't really want to tell me that it was the bike's fault that it fell down because it was parked in the wrong place, do you?
Well,
you
sort
really
of.
want to tell me that, Mr. Galvin? You look like such a nice young man.
I have
Misguided, perhaps, but a nice young man.
I have pictures of the spot where my car was and his bike right behind it.
Yeah.
Like it is a one-person parking spot. But I was on my way around the car whenever I tripped over it.
Mr. Orick says that when he got to the party, you were sitting outside on your car.
No, actually, I was inside talking to Danielle.
No, you weren't, sir, because you were too drunk to know what in the world you were doing.
Well, I mean, if I was that drunk, how come the cops didn't write me? And in the police report anywhere, it doesn't say.
Why would they do that? You weren't driving.
I told him not to.
Shh.
Okay.
You weren't driving. He didn't want to get you into any trouble. That's not my question. You know how much you were drinking. Well, at least at the beginning you knew how much you were drinking. Did you end up staying at the house?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I did, and my belt was stolen.
Just a second. You ended up staying at the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you sleep?
In the bed with the girl that I was seeing at the time.
This was in May?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it the same girl that you're affianced to now?
No, ma'am. It's not.
So between May of 2006 and now, we have had a new fiancé and an almost baby. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Listen, you paid $3,500 for the bike, according to you, maybe, more than a year ago.
Yes, ma'am.
You want $4,200 to fix it. That's not going to happen. Do you understand?
Can I explain why he
Yeah,
sold
sure.
it? The guy sold it to me for that because he was scared of it. He said he's either going to get put in jail or killed on it. It has like well more than $3,500 worth of work in it. It's got a crate motor. It's been lowered, custom paint, custom exhaust. It's pretty much a show bike. So it's worth more than $3,500 is what I'm trying to say.
Can I see the estimate to fix it, please?
Yes, ma'am. There's 2 parts estimates and 2 paint estimates in there. There's the damage.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Orick?
I work for AutoZone, but I'm a full-time college student as well.
Where'd you get the money to buy this?
I worked hard for it. I had a dirt bike that I sold for it, and it's hard work.
Oh, it's a beauty.
Thanks.
I mean, I wouldn't get on one of these things. I like to have a whole bunch of steel around me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of crazies on the road.
Yeah, there is.
So I like to be in a Sherman tank when I'm on the road. But I know that a lot of people like these things, including my husband, who lusts after one.
Really?
He'll continue to lust after one. All right. Mr. Galvin, where are you going to be next weekend?
At my house?
No. Where are you going to be next weekend?
The
Library.
The library, yes, ma'am.
Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,200. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Like I said, I tripped over it.
I'm pretty sure it's just an accident.
We're still friends as far as I know.
No hard feelings.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Longobardi versus Alva. Step forward, please.
21-year-old Jacqueline Longobardi is suing her former online friend, 20-year-old Louis Alva, for an unpaid loan and for publishing risque photos of her on the internet.
Ms. Longobardi, according to your complaint, you met the defendant online when you were having some marital difficulties.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were still living with your husband, but you began an online chatting situation with the defendant, and it is your claim 2 things happened. First, that he borrowed some money from you. Not a lot of money, but you want it back.
Yes.
And second, you claim that very foolishly you sent him some photographs of yourself, photographs that you would not want published.
Yes.
And he published them
Yes,
on
ma'am.
the internet. So you want to be compensated for that.
Yes.
Let's get to the photographs first.
Okay.
Had you met him personally before you sent him the photographs?
No, I haven't.
Well, why in the world would you do something so stupid?
Yeah, it was an awful mistake.
Well, it was an awful mistake, but you sent him the photographs.
I felt like I really trusted him and that he cared
Why
about
would
me.
you really trust somebody that you never met?
Yeah, I was naive.
Well, you were, but you don't get compensated for that in the court.
Yeah, but he showed my family and my friends. It wasn't right for him to do that. They were very
wasn't
personal.
right.
I know it wasn't.
Absolutely, it wasn't right.
Yeah.
But you can't stop him. You gave him the photographs. You gave him the photographs and you said, here, look at what you're missing. Stupid. That you don't get compensated for.
Yeah.
Now, just for my own information, why would you take these photographs and do anything to embarrass her?
I didn't take no photographs and embarrass her.
What'd
the
you
only
do with
photograph I had of her was her in a nightgown. And even that didn't show anything.
So what did you do with it?
I erased it. I deleted it as soon as she started getting depressed because I didn't love her.
You mean you put it on whatever you do with that
No.
machine that I don't operate?
No, I deleted them.
Okay. All right. So I don't even have to deal with the photographs. Because whether he published them or not, they're his photographs.
Well, she did. I mean, they show my mother, my husband.
Well, that was your stupidity.
Yeah.
You showed them to a stranger.
Well, we were talking for months. I mean, it wasn't something I just instantly did.
I knew you for
He's a stranger.
He built up a lot of trust. And
He's a stranger.
Stranger danger.
I mean, people who use this internet are so stupid. I just don't understand it. More and more, you hear more and more people falling into traps. People that they've never met. It's just mind-boggling to me how people could be so stupid. But anyway, I don't compensate people for being stupid, madam. So if you sent pictures to him, this stranger that you had never met, that you wouldn't want your mother to see, that's your problem.
yeah, definitely.
Now, let's get to the money. When did you allegedly loan him money?
On April 10th, 2006,
How much money did you allegedly lend him?
$270.
Did you receive $270?
Yes.
What did you need the money for?
Well, actually, I needed $1,000 to hire a programmer for a personal business I wanted to run. But with the $270, I couldn't do anything.
So why didn't you return it?
I didn't because she said she was going to sell her car and help me with the $1,000. So I just kept it in the savings account.
So you mean you have it?
Or currently, no.
Well, what'd you do with it?
I paid internet bills and I had some other stuff I had to pay. So I just used it for that.
Well, that wasn't your arrangement with her, was it?
We never really had an arrangement. She just gave it to me as...
Well, no, she
for me
gave
to
it to
hold
you
on.
because she said you needed it for your business.
Yes.
You didn't use it for your business.
I couldn't use it for a business. I needed $1,000, not $270.
Listen to me. You didn't use it for your business.
Yes, I know.
So why didn't you return it to her?
Because she told me to hold on to it until she can give me the rest of the $1,000. So over the
Well,
months I
now
was
she's
waiting
not
for
giving
it.
you the rest of the $1,000.
I know, and I told her if she would have asked me or contacted me, I could have gave her money back.
I
instead
did
of
contact.
being-
Don't
I'm
interrupt.
sorry.
She didn't even contact me.
Well, now she contacted you. Surprise,
Yeah.
you're here. What
And
did
I
you
even
think
told
you
her.
were coming here for?
I even told her that
What
I'd
did you
give her
think
her
you
money
were-
back if she would just call off this case, because it's just a waste of time.
Of course it's a waste of time, sir. You
Yes.
asked if...
Yes.
Doesn't that hair in front of your face bother you?
No.
I must tell you, Mr. Alva,
Yes.
it bothers the people looking at you.
They don't like it?
Well, I don't like it.
Oh.
I feel as if I'm looking at you through a curtain.
Yeah.
You owe her $270, smarty pants.
Yeah.
You took advantage of her.
No, I didn't take advantage of her.
Listen to me.
But I
don't
didn't.
Don't answer me back. Who is this?
Oh, she was my witness at the time she gave me the $270.
Just a
She
second.
was there.
And who is this?
Which one?
Him.
Him? That's her father. He has nothing to do with the case.
Then what is he here for?
I don't even know. I don't even know why he's here.
You know, Mr. Alva, maybe if you had a more reasonable hairdo, you'd figure out what was going on, which way was up. You owe her $270. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I didn't take advantage of nobody.
All he wanted was money.
She gave me the $270 and that was it.
Pressuring me constantly, just trying to get that grand out of me.
Only picture I got from her was her in a blouse.
It was a mistake of mine. I deserved it.
Even that, I wasn't even wanting any more of her.
The internet isn't a safe place, absolutely.
Don't trust girls.
We'll never trust anybody. I've never.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, why do you think Miss Andrews would have been interested in that?
Because of my good looks.
Excuse me.
Shut up.
Yes, ma'am.
Speak not.
Yeah.
Andrews is suing her former friend, 23-year-old Anthony Sellers, for a loan. Anthony claims Jolie is infatuated with his good looks. Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, Mr. Sellers.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
That's never going to show up there no more.
I am very happy. He got what he deserved.
And now the next case. Doherty is suing her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Michael Candell, for money owed on a credit card. Jennifer claims she used her credit to help Michael pay off his debt.
He used to be your boyfriend. According to my complaint, you tell me that you consolidated all of his high-interest credit cards on a new credit card that was a low interest rate, unfortunately, in your name. Then you broke up.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
And according to you, he didn't pay you.
Yes, he paid me $300 of the balance.
Mr. Candell says that he... Candell?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
says that he paid you back everything that you agreed on. How long was he your boyfriend?
3 years.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I am a nursing assistant at a Frankfurt-Torso hospital, and I'm a cake decorator at a local bakery, and I babysit part-time. And I'm going into my senior year of nursing school.
And what about you, sir?
I bartend, and I work at a hospital doing transportation.
Who do you live with?
I live with my mom and my 2 brothers.
So you don't have big expenses?
No, I give my mom money each month to help
How
me.
much?
Usually $250 a month. Plus, I pay for a car.
Whose car?
Well, it's in my mom's name, but I pay for it.
Because you drive it.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Now tell me why you got yourself in the hole with these credit cards, sir.
Well, I wasn't really in the hole. I was able to afford them each month. We were going on a trip. Well, my friend was getting married in Jamaica. She wanted to go out. I told her I didn't have the money. I was waiting for my income tax check to come in to help pay off the bills. And she's like, well, I want to go. I'll pay for it, like, as a present. So I was like, all right, that's fine.
Just a minute. This is your friend who's getting married in Jamaica.
Yeah, well, we're both our friends.
Your friend or hers?
My friend, but she's friends with him through me.
When was the last time you saw this friend?
Yesterday.
When was the last time you saw this friend?
This morning, because he's here.
Really? He's here for what?
I guess support for him.
Where is he?
Somewhere around, I don't know. He's hanging out somewhere around.
Well, what'd you bring him for?
Just we're going to L.A. It was like, all right, let's go hang out.
There are days I like this job better than others. Okay, so it's your friend, and you saw him this morning?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
You didn't see him yesterday?
No.
No. You brought him out here, so I assume he remains your friend. You've got custody of him after the breakup. And you were expecting an income tax check.
Yeah. Yes.
But she said, I'll give you this trip to Jamaica as a present.
Yeah. Yes.
And how much were you getting back?
$1,100 and some odd dollars.
What did you do with the income tax refund?
It went right into her bank account.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. How much was put all on this one credit card of hers that had low interest?
I think it was like $1,800 and some dollars.
How much was it?
It was $2,336.78.
Show him.
Yeah, I don't wear Victoria's Secret, though.
No, that's mine. That's why it's not highlighted.
Just the highlighted items, sir. Read just the highlighted items.
Now?
To yourself.
Okay.
Now, do any of those highlighted items look as if they're not your charges?
Well, the one thing is the Sprint Wireless. I gave her money back. I paid her that aside. Like, we were agreed on $100 a month, and I gave her that back.
So you want me to deduct the Sprint Wireless from that? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
And how much is the Sprint Wireless?
$214.61.
Okay. Anything else there that doesn't look right?
No.
All looks right then. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Kendall, I just have a question. Does your hair do that naturally, or do you have to work on it in the morning?
Oh, it's hard.
Hard. Okay. Now, how much did you pay her back?
Well, the $1,100 from my income tax. And
did you give you back $1,100 for his income?
No, we did not. I went towards to pay off the trip. I did not take him for a present to his friend's wedding.
No, I don't believe that you did. There's no question in my mind that you did not take him as a present to his friend's wedding.
Exactly.
Okay. How much was the trip to Jamaica?
$1,640 apiece.
$1,640. And how much did he pay you back for that?
He gave me $1,100 towards it, and then he paid the rest himself.
He did pay the rest
Yes,
himself?
he did.
Okay, so we're just talking now about the credit card.
Yes, we are.
Mind.
What?
I didn't pay the other $500.
Yes, you did.
Shh. What other $500?
The $1,100 I gave her out of the income tax check, she paid the other $500. I never paid that.
Yes, you did. You gave me money.
Shh. Don't answer him.
Okay.
Well, you don't want me to make an order for more money, do you?
I mean, it was she told me, she's like, I'll take you out here,
Listen to me. I don't believe she took you as a present to your friend's wedding.
Okay.
I want you to understand that. We're moving on from that. Now, she's only dealing with the credit card bills that you looked at, which total, according to you, deducting the Sprint, $21.22. Did you pay her any money from that?
Yes.
How much?
I was giving her $100 each month.
For how long?
3 months. I gave her $300 so far.
Well, if the trip to Jamaica was $1,640 and you gave her $1,100, and you gave her an additional $300, that's $1,400. You still owe her a couple $100 for Jamaica, plus the $2,122.
But the Jamaica thing was a trip. The thing is, with that...
I just told you.
I understand your understanding, but the thing is, once we broke up, she started sleeping with one of my friends, and...
No, it has nothing to do with that.
She basically, we had a break up, and she...
Listen, my microphone went over here where it shouldn't be. Mr. Candel, I don't care whether she slept with the King of Siam. I'm talking about 2122 in credit card bills, sir.
I thought it was 2036.
2122. I've given you credit for the Sprint bill.
Oh, okay, cool.
2122. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
I'm just glad it's over and done with, and I can go on with my life and pay off the credit card and get rid of it.
We had a break up.
We broke up. We were having some problems, but I'm glad we're over and done with.
She's crazy.
I wouldn't say that it's a waste of 3 years of my life, but I definitely learned from the 3 years that I've been with him.
She's done it over.
Try to pick and choose who my boyfriend is. Try to pick better.
18-year-old Angelica Heron is suing her mother, Valerie Tyndall, for an unpaid loan. Valerie...
You were there?
Yes.
So, okay, you sit down. So anyway, I paid off his school bills for his daycare. I caught up on some other bills. Then we scheduled the trip for Orlando. I got a job. It didn't work out. I didn't know when I was going to receive my paycheck. It was due to come before we were supposed to go to Universal Studios, which that money would have paid our other expenses. I told her we would have to push the trip back because we didn't have the money to go, and she got quite angry about that.
I got the picture. What did she do with the rest of the $22,000?
She partied, Your Honor. She did a lot of partying.
Who is this young lady?
That is her friend.
That she's living with?
I assume so, Your Honor.
You're living together?
Sometimes. Basically.
What is that? Sometimes, basically, what is that? Who's going to answer my question?
No, I'm not living with her.
Who are you living with?
Nobody. I sleep on whatever couch is available. I don't have anywhere to be.
Get a job.
I'm trying.
Get a life. Get responsible. And stop blaming everybody else for your misfortune. The only problem is they shouldn't have given you all this money when you turned 18. They should have waited until you were 25 so that you didn't blow it. Because right now you're going to get all this money because you think, I don't have to work. What do I have to work for? 6 months I'm going to get another $20,000. 6 months I'm going to get another $20,000. I'll worry about it later. That's a baby talking.
It's not like that, though.
Listen to me. Have you had a steady job in the last year?
I did.
When?
I had my own apartment for 7 months.
Tell me when you had a steady...
From September of 05 until February of 06.
Where did you work?
I worked at Applebee's and Red Lobster.
So why did you leave that job?
Because I came to Michigan to be with my son.
Are you telling me you were working full-time as a waitress, I assume?
No, I was a cook and a dishwasher.
So why didn't you get that kind of a job when you moved in with your mother?
I tried. You can even
Miss
ask
Heron,
her. She told me not to get a job. She told me to spend quality time with Dylan so we could get our bond back together. That's exactly what she said.
Very good. Get a life. And if I were you, I'd get a financial person to take the money, the next check that I get. And when are you supposed to get the next check?
When I'm 21.
Oh, so you got to wait a little bit. Got to wait 2 years.
The only reason I got this check sooner is because I went through a settlement funding to get it sooner, so I could do something.
Oh, so they discounted your settlement. Huh?
Yes.
So how much are you going to get?
When I'm 21, I get $10,000. When I'm 25, I get $15,000.
So they gave you a total of about $50,000 for $100,000.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Genius. Goodbye. Get lost. Your case is dismissed. Go. Have a happy life. Don't give that baby back to her.
I'm not going.
Good.
Okay, no, wait, no.
It breaks my heart because I'm not trying to keep her son from her. She talks to him on the phone. He's here, right here in the studio. I told her that she could see him.
She didn't tell me anything. She just stayed and just left. Like she's trying to erase me out of his life or something.
Under advisement from a therapist that he is seeing, he advises me to keep him away from her.
I want my baby.
She needs to grow up and fix her life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Guerriero versus Chase. Step forward.
Stephen Guerriero is suing the mother of his daughter, Joanne Chase, for a loan to move. Stephen says Joanne took the money but never moved.
Mr. Guerriero, you and Miss Chase have a 12-year-old daughter together.
That's correct.
The child is currently in your custody.
Yes.
And has been so for the last year.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. It is your claim that you made a loan to Miss Chase at a time when she was in need, and you want that money back. The loan was $1,000. Miss Chase acknowledges that you gave her $1,000 about a year and a half ago. You'll give me the exact date, but she said the money was not given as a loan. It was given in order to protect your daughter, who was then living in an unhealthy situation with Miss Chase and her husband. Why did you need money, Miss Chase?
Because I needed to move out of my home that I was living in to get my own apartment with my daughter.
What did you say to him when you called him?
I asked him to loan me $1,000 to move out, to get my own apartment, which he wasn't happy with me living with my husband. So I asked him to loan me the money, and on contingency of us selling our home, I would pay him back.
Well, when did you add this little contingency?
When I asked
Look
him...
at me. Don't look on the floor.
I'm sorry.
And, you know, certain things make sense and certain things don't. So, Ms. Chase, make sure you don't tell me anything that doesn't make sense, because if it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
He knew that I was going to be selling.
Don't tell me what he knew. I just want to hear what was said.
Okay. I asked him to loan me the $1,000 and that I would pay him back as long as I sold my home.
Did she say to you, can you loan me $1,000 until I sell the house?
That's partially correct, Your Honor.
Okay. She said, until I sell the house.
Well, there was a contingency made after I reluctantly gave her the money, and I did give her the money, of course, because our daughter's safety was at hand. The first thing was, if she sold the house, I would give the money in full. If she didn't sell the house, then once she got on her feet and got everything straightened out, she'd make payments, and I was fine with that, even if it was $5 a week.
Sounds reasonable. So, you gave her the $1,000, you moved out.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Well, she didn't move out. That was the issue at hand.
Why didn't you move out?
I did move out.
When?
It wasn't right then, but it was within 6 months. I did.
Well, what'd you do with the $1,000 for 6 months?
I used it to move out, but it was just, you know, I had to wait. My children were in school. I had 3 girls.
No, they weren't in school in July. 6 months later, they were in school, but they weren't in school in July.
There was a lot of things that were going on that I couldn't just move out at the current time that he had just given me the money.
What did you do with the money? Is my question, Ms. Chase.
Well, I did use it to move out, but it wasn't right
that month. You mean you held on to it and put it in a bank account and held on to it for 6 months?
No, I didn't put it in a bank account.
So what'd you do with the money?
I guess I saved it at the house.
So, why don't you pay him back?
Because I didn't sell my house.
And what are you doing now?
I live by myself and I work.
Good. Pay him back.
I don't have it. I'm not in any financial position to pay him back.
When he was paying child support to you, how much was he paying you?
I don't even remember.
He does.
It was $52 a week, Your Honor. And I'm receiving $11.50 a week from Miss Chase, which she's a little bit behind.
When he was paying you $52 a week, did you think that that was enough to help support your daughter?
No.
I thought that that was nothing. Mm-hmm. $11.50 is even less.
Correct, but he should get a job. I mean, you know, he doesn't work.
He's not living on your $11.50 a week.
Well, then he should get a job.
Well, he's living somehow.
Yeah, on Social Security.
That's not your problem. That's the government's problem if they're giving him Social Security.
Right, but I mean, I work and I also, you know, struggle myself to get child support from my daughter's father.
What does that have to do with the $1,000 you borrowed from him?
I don't know. You know, it's just hard because I do waitress and I have to, you know, work or else I can't pay my bills.
Right. You also have to pay back money that he loaned you. I have no idea what you did with the $1,000, but you certainly didn't use it to move out. I don't believe that you saved it, and I don't believe that you hid it in some cookie jar or some coffee can in your house until you were ready to use it.
No, I didn't, you know, but I did use it, you know, towards moving out when I did move out.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't have to get into any more of this sad tale. Suffice it to say, you owe him $1,000, judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Why is our excuse when they step out?
Oh, thank God for Judge Judy. I think she made the right call.
He doesn't have anything better to do during the day than, you know, strum up ideas to ways to get money because he doesn't have a, you know, job.
I had a lot of evidence I wanted to bring up, but I don't want to interject and have Judge Judy yell at me, so I kept my mouth shut.
Kathy Jesse is suing psychic Leon Legant for loans to take spiritual vacations. Kathy claims Leon has yet to pay the money back.
All rise. Quiet, please. Your Honor's case number 21 on the calendar in the matter of Jesse versus Legant. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
According to what I read in the complaint several years ago, you knew Mr. Legant, who was a psychic reader?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he owns a psychic school?
Correct.
How long had you known him?
I first met him in 1998.
How?
I saw an advertisement of his in a newspaper.
And have you been using him for readings since?
Counseling, yes.
What particular training do you have?
Clairvoyant training of a 1-year intensive, 3 years of teacher's training. I have over 6 years of training. I also have my certificates if you'd like to see those.
In any event, you wanted to take a trip. Mr. LeGrand was interested in going. We discussed it. He didn't have the money. According to you, you loaned him the money to go, and the understanding was that he would pay you back either in cash or readings.
True.
He went on the trip. For a while, he did, in fact, pay you back by doing readings. Somebody would keep a record of, I assume, of how much each reading was, and you would check off how much was left on the debt. At some point, he missed a scheduled appointment.
Well, actually, Your Honor, he was making payments also. There was no set schedule for our appointments. It was whenever we decided.
So he was paying in cash as well?
Actually, yes. That was mostly the agreement.
In check and or cash?
He would deposit it directly into my account, and sometimes he paid in cash, and sometimes he wrote a check. I have the deposit slips.
I'd like to see them.
Sure. It wasn't very friendly in terms of a social relationship. I mean, we knew each other professionally, and I trusted him as a teacher and my mentor.
All right, so I see you made some payments to her.
That's correct.
So you consider this a loan?
No.
Well, what was it for?
It was a donation.
No. What was the money that you paid her?
That was the interest. Initially, this is the 3rd trip I've been on with Miss Jessie.
We're talking about only this one, sir.
Okay. So in this case, Miss Jessie wanted me to go on a 2nd trip to the Philippines. I clearly explained to her that that was not something I could afford. So she decided to make a donation to the school so that the school could sponsor my trip. In exchange for that donation, she was to receive hours of readings. The payment she received was when she asked for me to cover the interest on her visa. And I agreed to do that. I was grateful for the donation. I was grateful for the donation. I have the donation right here. I have the check.
Can I see it, please?
It says donation with a big smiley face.
Were these paid out of a private account or the school account?
It was paid out of the school's account.
So all these checks were school checks?
Mm-hmm.
None yours?
Right.
You're not very clairvoyant, sir. Show this to the defendant, please. That's not the school's account, is it?
Oh, no. I may have used my own account to make a check payment. That's entirely possible.
What?
You didn't see that one coming, did
What?
you?
You didn't see that one coming at all? Show him this one.
Count.
One more. Uno más on this page.
Also, my account. Your Honor, the...
Stop! I'm not going to read your account number, sir, but it also appears that when cash was deposited directly into her account, it was deposited directly into her account with the same numbers on the accounts that were on these checks.
Can I see that?
Yes, certainly. Here you go.
Huh, that's interesting. Because when I called the bank to get copies of this so that I would know in preparation for you, they explained to me there was no way to trace that information.
Well, you do see what I'm looking at, don't you?
I do see what you're looking at. And the agreement I had with her was to pay the interest on her card.
All I'm asking you is whether the cash and the checks that she ascribes to this loan came out of the school's account or out of your personal account.
Right.
So you would be saying now that it came out of your personal account.
Obviously. I believe there were others that were taken from the school's
I'm
account.
looking to see yours.
And
you have
like
any
I
proof?
said, the bank said they couldn't trace this information.
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. Show me any checks that you have from the school to pay her.
I don't have those.
I do, however, see some checks, sir, that just say Bank of America, and it looks like they're from a different account.
That's right.
So sometimes you paid out of your personal account and sometimes you paid out of the school account. You're getting my drift, sir.
Not fully.
Well, when you have a business and you start commingling money as to what is a business expense and what is not, you have a serious problem. And clearly, in looking over this paperwork, it appears to me as if you were commingling what you considered a business expense with a private debt. The IRS doesn't like that. You should know that.
I did what I could to make sure she received her interest payments in a timely manner.
Don't you make a living from this company?
Yes, I do.
Then you should have paid her. Not commingled funds. That's a very bad thing, Mr. LeGrant. With commingled funds, the IRS is going to come and get you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I left him a voicemail saying that, I think that this was unfair, and at which point he sent me an email.
I would like to see the copy
Sure.
of the email that you sent to her.
I was very angry.
And later today,
I hit the throttle, and the whole transom, what the motor's mounted to, almost broke right off the boat. And the gas tank came completely disconnected and spilled gas all over the floor of the boat.
Kathy Jesse claims psychic Leon Legant borrowed money from her and never paid it back. Leon says the loan was repaid with free psychic readings. He is countersuing for slander.
Can you tell me what happened that precipitated this lawsuit?
He had made his last payment in November, and in December he promised me a payment on December 20th. And I was counting on that, and it was Christmas time, and I didn't get the payment. And I had an appointment with him scheduled for the 22nd, which I was going to discuss the matter with him, and then he didn't show up for the appointment and didn't let me know.
Does he come to your house, or do you go to his
No, it's a
school?
telephone. It's a telephone.
It's a telephone?
Yes, we hardly ever see each other in person. And so I left him a voicemail saying that, I think that this was unfair and I should be treated better. And at which point he sent me an email saying that he really thought that was the most mean, vicious thing anybody had ever said to him. And he really, literally never talked to me again.
What did she say on the voicemail?
She was incredibly ugly. I never finished both voicemails because it was too irate and too mean, too vicious, attacking everything she could think of and everything she knew about me. Basically, what happened in the beginning of December, I was still working with her and giving her readings. She explained to me that she lost her job, she was afraid she was going to lose the mortgage on her house, that she was in an incredibly strapped financial position. She began asking me if I could borrow money from my aunt to pay this balance off, and I explained to her that the agreement was an exchange of readings. This was not
Well, that's
a loan.
not true, sir. That's not true, because there were payments made both out of the school's account and out of your personal account.
That was
to her.
interest.
That's what you say. That's not what I find. Keep going.
So she was explaining all of this to me. I explained to her that this was not the agreement, this was not what I was going to do. She pressured me for a number of weeks. She did ask me to make a payment on the 20th in December because 25th was a Sunday and also Christmas. I explained to her that I get paid on a certain date, it takes a number of days to clear the bank. I'll do the best I can to try to do that, but that may not happen. And that went in one ear, right out the other.
All right, good. Did you make a payment in January?
I did not make a payment in December.
Did you make a payment in January?
Or
is my
January,
question.
or since.
Right. Why not?
Because she threatened to sue me.
She didn't sue you in January, did she?
No, she filed, actually on January 20th, I was on the way to the bank because she had left these voicemails. I wasn't sure how I was supposed to handle this situation, and I told her that I would get back to her in January.
Well, so you were sort of jerking her around.
No.
Because you didn't pay the amount in December, because you said you get paid on a certain day, and you don't know whether it'll clear and whatever. All right, so you don't pay it December 20th, you don't pay it December 23rd. There's December 27th, December 28th, December 29th, December 30th, December 31st. She doesn't hear from you until January 20th?
No, she received an email from me explaining that I felt her messages were incredibly mean and
Well,
that
show me
I
the
would...
you have the email? I would like to
Yeah,
see the copy
sure.
of the email that you sent to her.
I was very angry.
People who owe money usually are angry. Okay, so they were the meanest, cruelest, etc. Her two voice messages, and you choose to cut her off and not have anything to do with her until the holidays are over in December, because you don't want to be bothered during the holidays
Because
with
my
any
mom was in a serious
with any bad
accident.
vibrations. And I'll let you know how I plan to handle the future in January. Well, what'd you do at the beginning of January, sir? The holidays are over.
Yeah, I was thinking about how to handle the situation. I wasn't sure how to do that. The 20th was coming by in January. I decided
what,
to
the
make
20th?
The 20th of January.
Well, so you were thinking between January 2nd and January 20th.
That's right.
Let me hear you counterclaim, Mr. LeGrand.
After Miss Jessie complained about this December incident, she did request communication from me. I did say that I would communicate with her in January about the situation. Before I had a chance to do that, she went to my website. She scoured through all of the emails, addresses, everything she could get, and began emailing everybody from clients, students, about the situation. Very, very crazy emails.
Well, show me.
Sure. Here's one she sent to the travel agent. I'll give you all of them. Okay. And also, as far as missed appointments, that has happened in the past.
I'm not interested in that. All she does is talk to whoever she talks to about the fact that you owe her money.
These are my students
Who
that
cares?
she ripped off my website.
Who cares? Shouldn't have had him on your website.
It has
If he'd
none
want...
of their business.
Listen to me. She's entitled to do that. She doesn't slander you, sir. She says that you have an honest dispute with her. She believes you owe her money, and you are not paying her the money that you owe her. She doesn't say anything scandalous about you. You may not like it, but she doesn't say anything that's actionable.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please explain to me how a school professing to be spiritual and ethical can attempt to steal this money loaned in good faith? That's the way she feels.
Yeah, it wasn't a loan.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something, sir. I am the final arbiter of that, and I'm telling you that it was a loan. It was a loan because you repaid it. And you not only repaid it, you repaid it, some of it out of your funds and some of it out of school funds, which you can't do.
That's not correct.
Listen. Some of the people that you deal with, Mr. LeGrand, may revere you as being some sort of spiritual leader. I guarantee you, I'm not one of those people. All right? I'm telling you, you went on a trip, you slept, you ate, you took a plane, not the spirits, your body took the plane to the Philippines and had a nice trip. Pay for it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,697. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I missed an appointment.
I think that he has some talent,
She decided to use that as an excuse to refuse readings and demand money.
but that he needs to work a little bit more on his character.
Oh, I want to have nothing to do with her.
I think he's his own worst enemy, and he's on a self-destructive course.
Barbara Zeraldo is suing her daughter and son-in-law, Lisa and Raymond LaChance, for overdraft charges on their linked bank accounts.
Order. All rise. Yes, case number 13 on the calendar in the matter of Zeraldo versus LaChance. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Ms. Zeraldo, this is your daughter and her husband?
Yes, it is.
And this is your granddaughter?
Yes, it is.
Clearly, from what I've read, you adore your granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
The first part of your lawsuit says that you loaned your daughter money to have your granddaughter's hair done for something and she didn't pay you back. That was a while ago. I'm not dealing with that because of the second part of your lawsuit. Because the second part of your lawsuit says that you opened up a bank account for your granddaughter.
That's right, yes.
And you put some money in it, and that bank account was linked to your account.
Yes, it was.
And you gave her a bank card.
Yes.
So that when she needed money for things, she could go in and take out some money from the bank card.
Yes.
And at some point, someone overdrew that bank account, and they charged the linked account, which was yours.
Yes.
And you believe that your daughter should be responsible for that because she's the child's mother.
Yes, I do.
Who asked you to open this account for your granddaughter?
No one did. My daughter and her husband have gone through a lot of financial difficulty, and I know it's been very hard. So last September, I decided to open a bank account for Tasha so I could transfer money into her account when she needed it for things like lunch money or if she needed clothes or any emergency, as I felt she was at the age that she did need this extra money.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Miss Zeraldo. That's just a second.
Okay, sorry.
That's lovely of you. You tell your granddaughter, if you need money for clothes, you call Grandma.
That's right.
And I'll tell you to come on over, and I'll give you $20, $50, whatever you need I want you to have it within reason.
Yes.
You live close by?
No, we don't. That's why I opened the account. And
How far away do you live?
35 miles.
Not the other end of the world. How often do you see your granddaughter?
Not as often as I'd like to.
Well, I understand
but
that not
yes.
as often as you like. How often do you see her?
Maybe once every 2 months.
Okay. Sit down, please. I want your daughter up, please. What happened to the money, Tasha? Because part of the thing that your grandmother is complaining about, my dear, is that she didn't receive a satisfactory explanation. See how red you're getting? It's going to be all over after today. Now you're going to tell me how that money got taken out of your grandmother's account. Your grandmother and you are going to be friends after today. She knows she made a mistake. Well, if she doesn't know it, I'm telling her that she made a mistake by giving a 15-year-old an ATM card, access to money. I wouldn't do it. They don't know what they're doing. They'll go and buy drugs. They'll go and buy things that our parents have no control over. Ridiculous. How did the account get overdrawn?
The night that...
Look at me right here.
The night that this must have happened, I was babysitting. And I lost my bank card on the Friday before that Sunday because I get off school early.
Did you tell your grandmother you lost the bank card?
No, because I thought maybe I would have found it or called the bus line and they might have found it or something.
What else did you lose other than the bank card?
Just some pictures and stuff that were in my wallet.
Did you lose your whole wallet?
Yes.
The whole wallet?
Yeah.
Did you report the wallet stolen to anyone?
Just I called the bus line and asked if they had found one.
Did you go and file a report anywhere?
Yes, at the police station.
Did the police report indicate that there was a bank card in there?
I told them that my bank card was in there.
Did you tell your parents that the bank card was in there?
Yes.
Did she?
Yes.
Did you tell your grandmother that the bank card was stolen?
No, because I didn't find out that somebody had done that to my bank maybe a couple days after.
That's why you call her and say, please call and cancel the bank card.
I called and canceled the bank card.
You did?
Yes.
When?
Sunday night, because I figured if I didn't find it, then somebody might have done something with it, so I didn't want
When was the
anything
money
back.
taken out?
I don't know.
Before or after?
The Saturday.
Before?
Yes, before she reported the card gone. Yes.
Yeah. The only problem with your story, my dear, is that somebody had your PIN number.
I don't give out my PIN number at all.
Somebody had your PIN number. What?
Well, since she's done this, we found out her PIN number. Sorry, since this has happened, we found out her PIN number. She never told us her PIN number. We didn't know it before the incident happened. We since have known what her PIN number was, and it wasn't the best choice of PIN numbers.
Which was?
Her birth year. So again, a 15-year-old.
And I had my wallet information in there that had that and my phone number. And
again,
stuff.
a 15-year-old not making a very good choice of a
Your PIN
PIN
number
card.
was 6 digits?
4 digits. She was born in 1990.
Ah, so that was your PIN number.
Hers, yes. Not a very smart choice. No.
That's why we don't do that, Miss Geraldo.
Well, the bank, that's why they're holding me responsible, because she used
Somebody
her birth date
had
as
a PIN number.
You're not allowed to use your birth date as a PIN number.
Okay, now.
So they won't take responsibility. They say it's mine. I have to pay.
It is yours.
Yes.
It is yours. It's yours for giving a 15-year-old access to money, and it's your fault that it wasn't reported quickly enough when it first happened.
The only way I found out what was happening was the way I did the money. I would transfer it online for her, just $20 at a time. That's all she had access to. And I did it online. When I went online 2 days after this incident happened, I suddenly noticed this account was $500 overdrawn.
Mr. Geraldo, what you just said to me is ludicrous. If she only had access to $20 at a time, how come you were overdrawn $500?
Because what happened was whoever did this put an empty envelope with a note in it. The note said, F you back, and put it in the bank machine, then withdrew the $500.
Miss Geraldo.
Yes.
I have 11 grandchildren, and I guarantee you that I love each and every one of them as much as you love Tasha. I wouldn't think of giving them a credit card at 15. No. I wouldn't think of giving them a bank account with access to money, because when they're 15 years old, they're stupid. They don't make good choices.
No, you're right, they don't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Either her friends, or whatever. Right?
And later today.
A Tuesday at 11. Is that your day off?
No, ma'am. I was laid off from work.
So why weren't you out collecting cans?
says her granddaughter, 15-year-old Tasha LaChance, is responsible for overdraft charges on their linked bank accounts. Tasha claims her ATM card was stolen.
I'm telling you right now that your mother is not responsible for this. So if you think she is, you are mistaken.
But she did tell me she would be responsible. She told me that she would pay me back.
I don't care what she told you, madam. I'm telling you that this is a court, and you chose to open up a bank account for a minor, the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. Ridiculous.
But could I explain, Judge Judy, the circumstances surrounding it?
You just told me. They were going through hard financial times. You wanted her to have some of the extras, and the best way for her to do that, you told me that. I listen. I absorb everything. And I'll tell you something else. If I ever opened up a bank account for one of my grandchildren, 15-year-old, and I did it between the two of us, my kids would be furious.
But she didn't have access to my accounts, Judge Judy. There was no access to my accounts.
They didn't have access to your account, but you're complaining about it. She overdrew that account, and they took it out of your bank account.
Well, because an empty envelope was deposited in the bank machine.
Mr. Aldo, that's what happens when you entrust a 15-year-old who has friends, either her friends, or whatever. Right? Right?
What up?
Cookie?
Yes.
It's not your daughter's responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility for being a foolish grandma.
But I was lied to so much. There was 3 different stories going on.
I don't care whether there are 3 different stories. You're asking me to say that your daughter and her husband are responsible for something that either their daughter, her friends did, or that something happened where her wallet was taken and somebody else managed to get her PIN number from the information contained in that wallet. All very possible. Bottom line is, you had no right to open up this bank account for her.
Yes,
and if you chose to do that, it's your responsibility.
It was an expensive mistake.
It was an expensive mistake, but don't try to blame it on somebody else. It was your mistake. Don't do it again.
No, I wouldn't.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm at the raw end of a deal.
She's the one that gave me the account.
And I paid out more money as usual.
It's not my fault somebody did that to me.
For people that don't want to be responsible.
Feels like she's blaming me for it.
Oh, I'll never help out again. Never.
I haven't talked to her since the whole thing happened.
I'm sorry, that's it for me.
I still want to talk to her, but I don't know if things will ever be the same.
Jay Sewell is suing her ex-husband, Scott Sewell, for a loan for attorney fees. Jay claims Scott has anger management problems.
All rise. Now, this is case number 10 on the calendar in the matter of Sewell versus Sewell. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Miss Sewell, the defendant is your former husband.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been divorced for how many years?
2 years, ma'am.
How long were you married?
8 years.
Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
Who was the plaintiff in the divorce?
I was.
What were the grounds for divorce?
Scott and I were married for 8 years, but 6 years into the marriage, he drinks and he beat me badly, and I've got metal in my face where I had a face rebuild. And he begged me after I came out of the hospital and he came out of jail to have him back, and he would not drink and he would go to anger management, which he did.
Don't speak. After your divorce?
Yes, ma'am.
Your claim is that you bailed him out of jail twice.
Yes, first time in April.
You bailed him out of jail after the divorce.
Yes, ma'am.
And the charge at that time was what?
Battery on his girlfriend.
And he paid you back?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
And then he called you again when?
September.
Because he had been
arrested for 2 counts of battery.
Battery this time, but not against his girlfriend, against, according to you, somebody else.
Yes, his brother and his niece.
And again, you bailed him out. But this time, you also hired an attorney for him, and you claim that he did not pay you back either for the bail or the attorney.
No, ma'am.
And that he had promised to pay you back. Now, Mr. Sewell says, yes, he acknowledges that he said he would pay you back for the bail, which was how much?
$500 and a $5,000 life insurance.
$500 bail?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also claim the attorney's fees that he promised to pay you back for, and that was in what amount?
It was $5,000.
Did you pay $5,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Sewell says that the attorney was your idea, not his. You hired the... That's his defense. You hired the attorney, And in addition, he says that's an awful lot of money because when he got out of jail, after you had bailed him out for the second time, he met with the attorney once. The attorney didn't show up on the adjourn date. The charges were dismissed probably because his brother and girlfriend didn't show up. He convinced them not to. Is that right?
No, they didn't show up because they had no case against me.
You are a poor victim, Mr. Sewell.
I was.
You a victim the first time you put her in the hospital?
Nope.
Put her in the hospital.
Well, she attacked me first. And
when were you in the hospital?
Never.
In 2005, is that when the assault took place, or 2004?
On me?
Yes.
2002.
2002. You were not hospitalized in 2002 because of her assault on you?
No.
What was the nature of your assault on her, Mr. Sewell?
I came home late. I've been drinking. As soon as I opened the door, she went off on me. And
what did you do to her, sir?
I just snapped and started swinging.
You snapped?
Yeah.
Because you were drunk?
Yes.
That would be an assault, sir. Now, then you were arrested for assaulting your girlfriend.
Yes.
Did you plead no contest to that?
No, I pled guilty. That was all my fault. Same thing, drinking and fighting.
And when you went to the party at your brother's house, were you drinking?
Yes, but so was he.
I don't care if he was. He doesn't have the same kind of problem you do.
Well, he's the one that hit me. I didn't hit nobody that day.
You were in serious trouble at the time of that third arrest, sir. That would have been probably at least your second felony, but third arrest that I know about. There are probably more that I don't even want to go into. What kind of work do you do, Mr. Sewell?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning what?
Service. Air conditioning homes.
You work for somebody else or yourself?
Both.
How long have you maintained the same job with an employer?
8 years was the longest.
How long ago?
Oh, that was in the 80s.
What about now?
I sub out and I work for myself. I make more money that way.
So you don't have an employer now, you work for yourself?
Right now I am.
For how many years?
The last 15.
The last 15 years you've been working for yourself?
Off and on, yes.
When was the last time you filed tax returns?
Every year I do.
Did you file them this past year?
Yes.
How much did you earn?
Right around 30 grand or so.
You have any children, Mr. Sewell?
All grown, yes.
How old are they?
I got 6. I don't even know all their ages. 27 and down.
When was the last time you saw any of your children?
A year ago.
Do you think your life is a success, Mr. Sewell?
No, I don't.
It is not. It is a monumental failure. And you know, I suspect it's a monumental failure because you drink.
That's always been the trouble.
Well, why don't you do something about it, sir? How old are you?
47.
47. Well, statistically speaking, unless you get hit by a bus or a car or something else happens to you of a fortuitous nature, you have probably another 30 years to live, unless the cirrhosis of your liver does you in earlier. So don't you think you ought to do something about your drinking, Mr. Sewell?
I'm content with my life. I like working. I like having a beer after work. I'm probably never going to change.
What do you do for a living, madam?
I work for the publisher of a magazine.
Had you been married before?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
9 years.
You understand that he is a monumental loser?
Yes, ma'am.
And that bailing him out the first time after your divorce was a big mistake?
Yes, ma'am.
And bailing him out the second time was a bigger mistake?
Yes, but I just kept praying, like we do, that people will change.
No,
but
no. Let me
happen.
explain something to you. Men don't pray that women will change. Women pray that men will change. And I remember either saying or seeing or something, a little card that says, don't try to teach a pig to sing. It doesn't work and it annoys the pig. Women do it all the time with different gradations of change. Some would like them neater, some would like them more punctual, some would like them more affectionate, remember the birthday. You just want him to stop beating you. Miss Sewell.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Were you a drinking partner?
Well, yes, kind of, but not as bad as he. He's in drinking every day, and he's not as bad as me.
Didn't you hear what I said, sir? I said, I don't want to hear your voice until I ask you a question.
And later today.
Why did you do that, Miss Johnson?
Bad decision.
Very bad decision.
Yes, it was.
You allowed your daughter to do something that was against the law.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jay Sewell says ex-husband Scott Sewell owes for bail and attorney fees after he was arrested for beating up his girlfriend. Jay claims it was Scott's fourth arrest for domestic violence.
Let me see the lawyer's bill, please. And your canceled check to the lawyer.
I've got the credit card statements where
Did you pay her back the $500 bail from September, sir?
No.
Why?
We went to mediation. She wouldn't accept it. I tried to. They tried to. She wouldn't accept it.
She wouldn't accept the $500 that you wanted to pay her for the bail? You mean she wouldn't accept it because she wanted the attorney's fees as well?
She wanted everything, yes.
Well, that sounds right. They were the attorney's fees for you, right?
I didn't ask for it. I never asked for it.
What did he say, Miss Sewell?
What did he say when he went to jail? He said, do anything it takes to get me out of here. Anything it takes. Get me out. I'll never see daylight. And then in the morning, he'd asked us to go and pick up his truck because his firm would want the truck collected because he was in jail and couldn't go to work. So Gary and I went round to collect the truck.
Who's Gary?
This is what used to be Scott's best friend.
Go ahead.
And we were at the house after we came back and he called from the jail. And I was holding the phone up because he wanted to speak to both of us because I told him Gary was there. And he said on the phone, she needs to get me an attorney before 10 o'clock. I'm in court at 10 o'clock. And he said...
Step up. Your last name, sir?
That's a lie.
Baumgartner.
Mr. Baumgartner, you heard that statement? She needs to get me an attorney?
That's a lie. I was in jail. How can
listen to me. I don't want to hear you say anything until I look in your direction and ask you a question. How long had you been his best friend, sir?
Oh, approximately 10 months.
How did you know him? Were you a drinking partner?
Well, yes, kind of, but not as bad as him.
But a drinking buddy?
Yes, I have a friend who owns a little neighborhood pub.
That he's in drinking every day and he's not as bad as me. I'm out working every day. What do you mean he's not as bad as me?
Didn't you hear what I said, sir? I said, I don't want to hear your voice until I ask you a question. For my own information, this attorney met with, I assume, the two of you.
Met with me first because he was in jail and I had to go and retain him.
Okay, how did you find him?
In the Yellow Pages.
So you went to see him?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much time did he spend with you?
About 45 minutes.
And then the second time he saw you, you were with him?
Yes, when he was released from the court, we had to go to his office.
And how long were you with him then?
About 10 minutes.
Did you ever see him again?
No.
Did you ever see him again?
No, I didn't.
And what you're telling me is for that less than an hour, you paid him $5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what I'm going to suggest that you do. You have to pay her the $5,000 because it was taken out of her credit card. I am holding that check until the two of you compose a letter to the Bar Association in the state of Florida filing a formal complaint against this attorney for taking $5,000 for less than 1 hour's worth of work when he did not make a court appearance. Have you asked him for any of that money back?
He did make the final court appearance with him.
How many court appearances did he make with you?
The last day when I was going to be completely done with the judge, I was going back every month checking in with the judge because I was going to anger management.
Well, had you been in touch with the attorney? Listen to me. Had you been in touch with the attorney in between? You mean he just showed up on that last date?
Yes. But he wasn't needed for anything. It had nothing to do with the case I was arrested for. It had nothing to do with that.
Well, what was he there for?
I have no idea. I didn't need him for nothing. This was about a case against my girlfriend that this was the final day to meet the judge and be done with it. And the money that she paid the attorney for that, he gave back to her. He gave her $2,500 back.
How much money did you pay the attorney in total?
$7,500 because of his previous record. He said that he wouldn't take the case on and less than that. And he took on the case that had already been pled, and then...
So he took on both. All right, I feel better now. I feel better now. Now I'm getting it. Okay, because it would have been outrageous and unconscionable for him to charge you $5,000 for less than 1 hour's work. However, I have a feeling that there's more work involved here than I was originally presented with. You have to pay her back the money, sir. Do you understand?
I didn't ask for it. Yes, I understand, though.
Yes, I believe that you did. I believe that you probably had a very bad hangover. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse, you may step out.
Well, she forgot to mention that she gets drunk every night and she likes to fight. She loves to fight.
After he'd beaten me and put me in hospital and...
Drinking does lead to fighting.
I became afraid of him and divorced him.
A couple people get drunk, they bump heads.
Justice was done.
5-year-old Nicole Newton is suing her former friend, Michael Danner, for rolling her Jeep. Nicole says the accident was a result of a heated argument.
Newton, Mr. Dana was a friend of yours?
Yes, ma'am.
There were 4 people traveling in a car. It was your car?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point, Mr. Dana took control of the car, you say without your permission, and he wrecked it.
Yes.
Mr. Dana acknowledges that he took your car. Mr. Dana acknowledges that he took your car without your permission, and Mr. Dana acknowledges that he wrecked the car. So far, correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
His defense is that he took the car because he feared for his safety, and it was the only way to get away from a situation that was dangerous. When did this happen, Miss Newton?
November 17th of 2005. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening.
Who was in the car?
My husband, Craig, was driving.
Is that him?
Yes. And myself was in the passenger front seat, and then Mike Danner and Peggy Thornton were in the back seat of the vehicle.
What happened?
Me, Mike, and Peggy had just got off from work in Plattsburgh, and I gave him rides to work. We all worked together in a factory, and we were come back to St. Joe and picked up my husband to take him to get his paycheck in Atchison, Kansas. And sometime in between the factory where he works at and going back over the Kansas Bridge into Missouri, where we live at, there was a heated argument about several different things, one of them being an affair that happened between Mike's ex-girlfriend and my husband. And
Mike's
ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend and your husband.
Yes. And Mike got really excited, kind of upset, agitated, and jumped out of the vehicle on the Mocan Bridge, which is in between Kansas and Missouri. And me and Peggy got him back into the car in the back seat, and he proceeded to start beating on Peggy in the back seat. We tried to get into the back of the vehicle to get him off of Peggy, but both rear doors were locked, and my husband, Craig, he decided to go over the seats at Mike, and there was a struggle or some sort, and then Mike was in the front seat, and the next thing I know, I woke up next to the side of the road because I'd been hit with the car door on the back of my head. When he pulled it into gear, it locked in reverse, so he had to push the button to pull it down into drive to take off with it, and then he proceeded. My husband told me he dragged him a good half a block up the road when he was taking the vehicle. And then he went for help when I was knocked out, and the police come, and 2 farmers came and told me my Jeep was up a half mile up the road, flipped over, and no sign of Mike or Peggy, and they were both in the vehicle when it took off.
When he took off, where was Peggy? Still in the back seat?
Yeah, she was still in the rear.
Stand up. Were you in the car when the car flipped over?
Yes, ma'am.
You were in the back seat of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dana was driving the car, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to Mr. Dana driving the car, was he sitting in the back passenger seat next to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he go over the front seat?
Yes, ma'am.
When he took off, did you say anything to him?
Yes, ma'am. I said to please stop or slow down.
You yelled?
I yelled.
Did he answer you?
No.
While he was sitting in the back seat of the car next to you, did he hit you?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
At least 3.
I never hit him.
You may be seated. I'm very effective.
I know.
So no matter how much rehearsing you did, it doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Now, Mr. Dana, you're going to explain to me your answer, which quite frankly I found slightly convoluted, why you are not responsible to the damage to Miss Newton's car. So far, let me tell you what we know to be the fact. You were driving this car. You took it without permission. You took it after you were assaulting your girlfriend. You did not get out of the car. You jumped over the front seat. You were driving too fast because that's what she says.
I never assaulted her, though.
Your Honor,
Is she still your girlfriend?
Yeah.
You think that this lady would say that you hit her when you didn't hit her?
She was drunk. That's one thing we left out. We was all drunk.
She may be drunk. Then she would say to me, I don't remember him hitting me. Mr. Dana, she would say, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But your girlfriend, with whom you probably slept last night, is not going to tell me, a perfect stranger, that you hit her at least 3 times when you didn't. Do you understand?
Maybe I was drunk and I don't remember.
Oh, that's perfect. That I like. Were you drunk?
Oh, yeah. We was drunk.
You were drunk?
Yeah.
So you had no business driving the car?
Nope, none of us should have never been driving. It never would have happened.
Unfortunately, Mr. Dana, nobody was driving the car except you when it flipped over.
No, we was drunk when we got off work.
Listen to me very carefully, Mr. Danner. You had the misfortune of being behind the wheel, driving too fast when the car flipped over. Now, on November 17th, if I were a drinking person, I might have been drunk. If Bird were a drinking person, he might have been drunk. But that wouldn't have made any difference because we weren't driving the car.
Exactly. So
You would listen to
I
me.
wouldn't be driving with you if you was drunk. Would you get in a car with me and drive if I was drunk right now?
What did he say?
Would you get in a car and drive with me if I was drunk right now, knowing I was drunk? Would you get in a car and drive
Listen
with me?
to me, sir.
I'm listening to you.
No, you're not. I think maybe it'll be helpful if you take your hands out of your pockets.
Yes, ma'am.
And uncross them. Hands at your sides. You chose to get into the car with the plaintiff and her husband. If they were all drinking and you got into the car with them, that's your choice. If the car had flipped over with her driving the car and she was drunk and you were hurt, she would have been responsible for your injuries. Do you understand?
So they should be responsible for my girlfriend's injuries. When I was driving, their insurance should be.
What law school did you graduate from, Mr. Danner?
Missouri Department of Corrections.
As an inmate?
Yeah.
There you go. People who graduate from prison law school, sir, very rarely get to the Supreme Court. In the history of this nation, nobody has ever made it to the Supreme Court who's a graduate of prison law school. So why don't you stop being a wise guy and just
Yes,
listen?
ma'am.
Because I guarantee you, in this little discourse that we're having, you're not going to win.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You can't pick your relatives. You can, however, pick your friends.
Yes, ma'am.
I suggest you slough off this group.
And later today,
Were you going on trial for a felony?
Yes.
He was convicted of his
I was not
charges.
convicted.
You were found guilty.
There was no witnesses in that. There was nothing, so it's just sick.
owes for rolling her Jeep on the highway. Michael says the accident happened when he was attacked by Nicole's husband.
Now, I want you in 30 seconds or less tell me why you're not responsible for the damage to Miss Newton's car.
For one, I was in fear of my life because her husband was beating me up once, and he told me he was going to beat me up again. And she jumped out of a Jeep with a billy club, so I took off, and basically that's it. And we should have never been drinking and driving. Nobody should be drinking and driving a vehicle.
That's your defense?
Yep, that's my defense.
Can I see the estimate on the damage, please? What an idiot.
Your Honor, there's one here that has the list of labor and parts from the dealer, and then the other one's just a printout of just the parts, which is what we were asking for.
How long has he been your boyfriend?
Almost a year.
You have children?
No.
Perfect. You have photographs of the car?
Yeah.
I'd like to see them, please.
I have also this one, if you want to give her that one, it's off. Okay.
They going to be able to fix this car?
Yeah, we've already started on it, Your Honor, out of our own pocket expense, just because that's my only means of transportation.
Is the limit in your small claims court $3,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that why you're only suing for $3,000?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can't, Miss Newton, pick your relatives. You can, however, pick your friends.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes life gives us an advantage, and we're able to, despite the fact that we're stuck with relatives, we can get rid of them if they are not a positive part of our lives, right?
Yeah.
But it's certainly much easier to do with friends.
Yep.
Right? I suggest you slough off this group. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Don't think they should have won. They're a bunch of losers and meth heads anyway.
No, I don't use crystal meth. I'd pee for somebody today.
He was beating on her. I went around to try to stop him, pull him off of her.
He says that his girlfriend was flashing somebody, but I didn't see it.
She was flashing Mr. Newton, and she was drunk.
Well, 3 balls of Jack Daniels, what would you be doing?
He jumped in the front, tore off, drugged me 50, 60 foot down the gravel road as I was trying to stop him, and rolled us both in the ditch.
We learned a lot, actually. I mean, he was a real long-term friend, him and his son, and no longer.
These reports to the Child Welfare Administration. The whole bad feeling between neighbors started because of a parking space.
She parked very close to my car, as you can see on the picture.
she started parking close to me like that.
She asked you to move. Your response to her was, it's a public street, I'll park where I want to park. I'm not sympathetic with you. You called Child Protective Services based on...
She yelled at her daughter to get down, or next time she does it, she's going to beat her up, and then we heard break your neck.
And she said, hey, get off the couch right now. I'm going to beat you up. Stop playing. Okay, I'm going to break it. Oh, she says, you're going to break your neck.
She didn't say, I'm going to break your neck. She said, you're going to break your neck.
After she threatened to beat the child up.
I still think that that's a little bit of overkill, Miss Jackson. Let's go further.
And now, the conclusion. Lynette Hernandez is suing her neighbors, Pamela Jackson and Ashley Jackson, for filing false CPS reports and defamation of character.
So the first 2 times that you called Child Protective Services, I think that they were iffy. And I believe, if you see something, say something. But this comes from a different place. All right.
A police officer.
Don't speak. I don't care what a police officer said to you, actually. I really don't care. You say that she called Child Protective Services in April.
April 7th.
Just a second. So Child Protective Services responded to a call on April 7th. And what was the gravamen of that call? Somebody was complaining that what? Do you know?
Yeah, she told
Not she. Somebody was complaining.
Somebody was saying that I had a knife, a child, and that I was kicking her car. The same thing she told the police officer.
Did not call Child Protective Services in April. That's what she says. So now you're going to show me proof that she called Child Protective Services in April. She acknowledges she called 3 times, all after August, either August, September, or thereafter. So show me proof that she called in April.
Just tell her to press play. Just press play at the bottom.
All these in Galveston knew how to take care of their men, they wouldn't be paying her to take care of them. She's very proud of this. She's proud of she doesn't care that her kids are there. I've seen signs of things that have happened. There was one incident, and yes, it did get reported to CPS. Yes, there's a video out there. Now I'm going to have to go find the video where one of the guys that comes out giving her money, the daughter is sitting there kind of grabbing herself money, almost like something happened. So it's almost like Lynette actually pimped out her own daughter. What kind of mother is going to A, do her prostitution in front of her kids, and B, allow them around her daughter?
How did you get this audio?
She posted that on TikTok. And the first time that they came, April 7th, CPS, they told me that those were the allegations that were made.
Clearly, that's your voice.
Yes, that's my voice, but I'm not the one that called. I learned about the allegations because she called the police on that call.
Clearly, that's your voice. And those are pretty serious allegations, because you're not only accusing her of committing a crime in front of her children, you say in this audio, which is on TikTok, is that where it is?
See if there's
people are so crazy, that she is using her daughter, who is 7. That's what you say on here. That's pretty vicious.
At the time,
Your Honor,
just a second. That's pretty.
Your Honor, she's claiming that I'm a prostitute.
Just a second. Does it sound as if right now, I told you, I don't care if you have to parallel park.
There's another TikTok to why that one was posted that would clear more information.
I don't care if you have something that would clear more information, madam.
She accused me of being arrested for calling CPS when I wasn't. And that particular CPS call, somebody else, she called the police after that.
Did you post this
after
just a second?
I got fired for.
That's your voice. And I don't care if you're having a private conversation with somebody, if you're saying to somebody privately, this is what I think is going on there, this is what I think. You posted this on a public platform, accusing her, not only accusing her, but saying that you saw her home being used for prostitution and her using her child for prostitution. That's what you say. Hey, that's what you say in here. And it was posted, because that's the only way you get it.
Views, unlike hers that had over 4 million.
Just to say, have you ever been arrested?
No, ma'am.
I didn't ask you for anything. Have you ever been, careful, have you ever been arrested?
No, ma'am.
If you haven't been arrested, you couldn't have been convicted of a crime. You have 2 children. How old are they?
7 and 8.
Who do you work for?
I'm a home health caregiver for a company.
You work full-time?
Part-time, because I was a student.
Where?
In Galveston College.
Is that a brick-and-mortar school?
It's a community college.
But it's a brick-and-mortar school. It's not online.
No, it's public.
When I say it's a brick-and-mortar, it's a building rather than something in the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. Outrageous. That's outrageous.
She ended up...
Lynette Hernandez claims her neighbor, Pamela Jackson, defamed her on social media. Pamela says she called CPS on Lynette after she witnessed abuse.
Okay, when's the 3rd time you called?
The 3rd time, she was outside with her child. Her child threw a ball at her. She took the ball, and with full force, she took it and threw it at his face. She also threw it at his groin. Then when he was upset and crying, she looked at him and told him, "You've been hit harder than that in soccer."
Okay. Did you have a video
We have
of
a
that?
recording.
I'd like to see it. Which one is your phone? The happy face or this face?
Here's the one where you can see him being hit in the groin. And then there's another one, too. I'm not sure what this is showing.
Well, she's playing ball with her 2 children out in the front. It's looks like a big beach ball.
Oh, that.
And then she throws the ball in it, but it's in a light-spirited, in a very light-spirited way. These are not angry.
The other one's not.
These are, oh, yeah, I got it.
Just a mother playing with her children.
CPS closed all of these cases after they came out and interviewed you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It was ruled out because they didn't find anything.
Okay, now I'm going to hear one thing from you, only one thing, and that's your counterclaim, because I don't care about police, I don't care calling the police. You're all entitled to do that. CPS is a whole different thing.
If I could add something, please?
Not unless it's on video, because what you showed me so far...
I got document for this one.
What?
We've got documentation on this one.
On what?
In retaliation, she called CPS on my daughter who doesn't have kids.
Who cares? Then your daughter's not at risk if she has no children. CPS responded based upon at least 3 times, maybe 4, but at least 3 times. And so far, nothing that I've seen, other than the fact that you were annoyed, would require or suggest child abuse or neglect. So I'm telling you, that's trouble for you. All I want to hear now is you claim she assaulted you. That's your counterclaim. I don't want to hear about anything else. You claim she assaulted you.
Well, we have charges for that. We also have defamation.
All I care about, you have to understand, I find that what you and or your daughter did by calling Child Protective Services vindictive and vile. And it took people who should be out there really looking to take care of children who are really abused and or neglected, took their time to come out, do an investigation.
Telling me to call
Just a second. Just a second. I don't care. You have shown me the basis that you used to call Child Protective Services. You took the video of it. And I'm telling you, that was my business for a quarter of a century. I would never make a finding of neglect based upon anything that you had here. Anything. So now, follow directions. You know, I told you, I'm an equal opportunity abuser. I told her she's got to learn how to parallel park and not tell people where to park on the street. All I'm interested from you is tell me about this assault that you allege occurred.
The night of the assault, and we have video of it. I should get that ready.
Date, just a second. Date.
November 27th, this past year, 2022. It was in the evening. I was outside changing my cameras, and she came home and took my trash can because she had put hers in front of my car that day. Or the day before, and the cops even, because at first she...
No. Don't go off on a tangent.
Okay. So she took my trash can, put it in the middle of the road. She likes to try to get me tickets. I went to go move it. She kept pulling it and moving it back out there. So finally I went to go grab her can to move it over. Well, she ended up taking my can and going like this. literally shoved it into me 4 times. I ended up with scratches and bruises.
Okay.
I've got a back strain, and it agitated my arthritis.
I'm going to see.
I've got medical records.
Just a second. I'm going to see the video of that and the police report.
Can you pull that video? Pull up that video.
We have it on the monitor if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to move it. Let me park my car. Let me park my car. You can keep it up there. Why do you want to come? I don't give. Let me park my car. Just
Say, lady, you go to the neighborhood. You go to the neighborhood. You know what the neighborhood's all about. Why you?
You want me to hit you? Oh, you're gonna jump away. You can run me.
I don't see any.
Your Honor, I have a video of the whole
Just a second. I don't see anything there.
Those are just clips.
Just shh. I don't see anything there. Miss Jackson, I see 2 ladies fighting over the trash cans. I don't see her assaulting you.
It was the trash can she got me with.
I don't see it. I don't see her going like this into you 4 times. I don't see that. I don't see it. Now I'll look at a police report. That's your video. Do you see her shoving a trash can into 4 times?
You can see that they come together with both trash cans, but not much more.
Stupid. People acting stupid. Nonsense. Stupid.
Your Honor, I have a video of the whole incident of how it first started.
I'd like to see it.
Because she made a... Where's my pink phone?
I gave them all
Pink phone.
Every angle of it.
Because she...
Pink phone.
Don't speak. I'm not...
First and started putting it in the middle of the street. And I'm going to find the video for you.
You know, I really don't care. Listen to me, Miss Hernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
Take your phone. I really don't care.
Okay.
I look there and I don't see an assault.
Okay.
I don't see an assault, and that's really all I was interested in.
Defendant Pamela Jackson is accusing her neighbor, Lynette Hernandez, of abusing her children. Lynette claims Pamela posted damaging content on her social media.
Okay. Miss Jackson, when we started out this case, I said to Miss Hernandez, in effect, don't be a big baby. You have to park your car. Learn to parallel park, and you can't tell somebody else that they can't park in front of their house. And you were absolutely right. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You owe her $5,000. I'm entering a judgment on her behalf of $5,000 for your erroneous call to Child Protective Services. That's my judgment. Don't do it again. Don't take. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Hey, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm speaking. You showed me your best evidence. You said I have it all recorded. Why I called Child Protective Services. You showed me. There was nothing there in the videos you showed me.
Because
this is not a because. This is not a because. This is not a because. I also find what you posted on TikTok abhorrent.
What she posted was worse. And it's viral. You didn't even give me a chance to present.
And your assault. I didn't see the assault, but I saw Child Protective Services judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Your counterclaims dismissed. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
I overheard a lot more than what was, and saw a lot more than what was being shown.
I got justice because you shouldn't waste resources, you know, on something, on accusations, sick and false like that.
I wouldn't have all these cameras if she wasn't constantly harassing me, calling the police on me.
Everybody gets along except for her. She's the problem.
She wants to become TikTok famous. When she realized her videos of defamation against my mother was getting a big hit, she was like, okay, I'm gonna keep this on.
I'm not trying. It just happened.
We've tried to ignore her. She's the one that keeps doing it.
There's been things that she's done and it's just all out of pettiness.
Wait for the police to finally arrest her.
Thank you, Judy Justice.
So I have 2 comments.
Okay.
Because we've had lots of cases with regard to parking spaces, parking in the street, and that sort of stuff. And have neighbors start off wrong, usually because of something. This was car thing. But you have to be sensitive to the limited resources of people who are supposed to protect children. And if you keep calling them over nonsense because it really emanated from a parking space, you touched my car, it's parked too close, that's not a tool.
Yeah.
That's not a tool. And we have to fortify that statement that it's not a tool to call a governmental agency that has limited resources because somebody's bumping into your car.
Yeah.
And there are ramifications of posting that sort of stuff without any modicum of proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because you're making
family member at home and say, I've seen some weird things about my neighbor. I'm not sure if something weird is going on there. But those were concrete, seemingly factual statements that she was making about her neighbor that were inaccurate and, like you said, had no basis.
If true, she belongs in jail.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
No.
In my judgment, just the limited contact that I had. They both behaved badly. I was talking about this Gen, whatever it is.
Oh, us Gen Z. You realize that's my generation as well.
Yeah, yes, it is. So,
go easy on us. Remember who raised us.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Probably part of it was us. But I heard a really funny story. We were talking about this entitlement, young people in entitlement. And one of my friends said, I went into a store, where they usually have one shoe out, and if you want the other one, you have to ask a sales associate to please get you the other shoe to prevent people from walking out with two shoes. So he went over to the sales associate. The place was relatively empty. He said to the sales associate, could I get the mate of this shoe? And this kid, who was about 25, 28 years old, looked like a schlump. His response to him was, why me? Why me? Why did you ask me? There are 4 other sales associates here who could get you the other shoe. Why did you pick me? Bizarre. I'm praying for some sort of a miracle for this generation, some sort of an awakening. Anyway.
There's some good ones in the generation that might just save us.
There are some great ones.
So.
Just a minute.
Caused by Jania's 14-year-old daughter.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Hello.
Case 2180, Simmons versus Freeman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Simmons, how long have you known Miss Freeman?
I met her in the 3rd grade. I've seen her a few times since then.
And you were having a party for one of your kids?
Yes, my oldest son.
How old is he?
12.
And it was a house party. And was she invited?
She was invited. I invited everybody from my Facebook, my family, and my friends.
How many people did you have?
There was about 10 kids that came.
And one of those children was the defendant's daughter, who was 14?
At the time, yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Could you stand up next to your mother? Tell me your first name.
Miari.
And did you come with one child or more, Miss Freeman?
2.
Your daughter and who else?
My 11-year-old son.
And at some point in the party, the kids went outside.
Yeah, so it was inside of a party room, and we were on the 2nd floor, and they were able to of where her daughter was playing at.
Let me see what you have. Okay, come up here. Is this where you were playing?
Yeah.
On the grassy area?
More like, so it was 3 of us. We were all sitting right here, and I just so happened to be like more inside of the plant.
I just want to know whether you were in the planter or outside on this grass. In here or out here?
Both.
So you were both?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can go back. Okay. Just for my information, what were you doing in the planter?
Well, and I didn't want to sit, so I was standing up on it.
Standing up on this is not my question. Were you in the planter where the plants were?
Yes.
Yes. Well, you knew you weren't supposed to be in the planter where the plants were. I mean, you're an intelligent girl, aren't you? Yeah. So you knew you weren't supposed to be in here.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's all. I mean, we're not talking about a homicide here. We're talking about being someplace you're not supposed to be, in the planter. So it was just the 3 of you outside.
Yes.
The 2 kids who were sitting on the edge of this planter where you're supposed to sit, and you who were both on the edge and inside the planter.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what happened with the head of a sprinkler system while you were out there.
So what happened was we were talking and playing, and I was running around, so I was going from it on top of it, trying to be tall, running off the grass onto the steps, onto the planter and stuff like that. And somehow, I'm not really sure, I don't really remember with it, and I started to notice it, and I was looking at it, and then I was like, something's wrong here. I seen the top to the green thing, and I felt like that may have been me who removed it, so I thought to put it back. And as I was trying to put it back, it was being mad difficult, so I started jumping on top of it to make sure it stayed on top.
Let's get back to you. At some point after this happened, you were contacted by the landlord of your facility.
Yes, but I didn't know that she was outside doing that.
I don't care. She's just acknowledged that she did it. Why would that bother you?
It doesn't bother me.
Well, then it's not relevant. She acknowledged that that's what happened. She was in the wrong place. She broke something. According to her, she tried to fix it by jumping on it. Clearly the wrong thing to do. So if there was damage as a result of that, there's no question. Do you have a video of what happened that afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, can we see that, please? This came from security camera?
Yes.
Okay, you're in the white shorts, right?
Yes.
What are you bending down to pick up?
The top.
You mean it's that heavy and then other
Wasn't
kids get...
heavy.
Shh. Okay, I got it. Well, you understand, Miss Freeman, if Miss Simmons can establish that something that your daughter did, which she did on purpose, knowing she wasn't supposed to be there, you're responsible for whatever damage she did as a result of, that's probably a sprinkler head. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you say in your answer that you left for a period of time and she didn't properly supervise your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not true because your daughter's 14 years old. She's old enough to be outside unsupervised. Planther, she was the oldest one out there.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
She was supposed to supervise them. If there was a 6-year-old who did that and she's outside, you would let a 14-year-old take care of a 6-year-old. And she doesn't require her supervision. And when she had a problem that day, and clearly it was a problem with somebody else's property, when the two of you were home that evening, did she tell you she had had a problem?
No, ma'am.
She didn't tell you anything about it?
No.
That she broke something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, when did she finally tell you she broke something?
When Kara contacted me that the apartments were contacting her, then I asked my daughter about it, and she told me what she told you.
Great. Can I see the letter from the complex, please? Do you know how many children she has?
She has 3 children.
So she's dispossessed from her apartment. That's 4 people who are homeless. She's going to lose this housing unless she pays the damage that your daughter caused. That doesn't seem reasonable for her to lose her housing, does it?
Kara Simmons claims her former friend, Jania Freeman, owes for water damage caused by Jania's 14-year-old daughter.
So what this says is that they looked at this video because they tried to determine what caused the leak in a commercial business operating in the building. The leak caused substantial damage, $9,927 to be exact as a result, because this was a water pipe and it was broken. Okay, and it tells her that unless they get this $9,927, she's going to lose her housing, right?
Yes.
Your fault. What can I tell you? Hit that pipe initially. You knew you shouldn't have been there. And it's clear that whatever you were doing, you were jumping with full force with both feet on that pipe. That's clear. You tried to pick it up. You leaned over at least twice to try to pick it up and then put it down and then stomped on it. Clearly, you weren't supposed to be there. The landlord is holding her responsible because under the terms of her lease, she's responsible for any damage caused by not only a member of her household, but an invited guest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes if you're acting stupid, nothing happens. Sometimes if you're acting stupid, yeah. So if she's dispossessed from her apartment, that's 4 people who are homeless. She's going to lose this housing unless she pays the damage that your daughter caused. That doesn't seem reasonable for her to lose her housing, does it?
No, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $10,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
The truth is that you don't host a party and you don't watch the children that are on your property.
They're teenagers. They're old enough to be outside alone.
All of those children were in the planter at some point, but it's fine.
There were no other children in the planter.
I would think that there should have been something for like flood fire or earthquake damage in place, so I don't know.
But she should take responsibility for her daughter. That's not my responsibility.
Relatively simple. You know, I think that there is an age, Sarah, where even under these circumstances, a child can be out unsupervised. Certainly, the defendant's defense in her for a short period of time, well, there's no issue that a 14-year-old
doesn't need to be constantly
be supervised. You usually use a 14-year-old to
supervise others.
To supervise other young children.
I do think it was an accident. I think that she knew she probably wasn't supposed to be in the planter, but once we saw the video, it was playful. They were playing a ball from up high, down low. I understood the situation after we saw it. You also understood that the stomping full force as a 14-year-old could do some real damage, especially inside a planter that's supposed to be a delicate, untouched area. So I understood. I think the defendants were in a tough position. They knew it was their fault. I appreciated that they took responsibility for
it. The daughter did. The daughter did. I'm not so sure about the mother,
I think the mother saw the big price tag attached to the response.
Cost of 4 pigs, a hog waterer, and lost wages.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2181, Moore versus Foreman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Moore, you're suing the defendant because it is your claim that you sold him, I believe, 4 piglets, and he never paid you for them.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what the case is about. Now, tell me where you live.
I live in Pinehurst, but outside of Pinehurst, south, in a valley.
Pinehurst is where?
In Idaho.
So you live in Idaho. Is that a farming community?
Yes, small.
Who do you live there with?
Me, my mom, and my sister.
You have a farm?
Yes.
How many acres?
Right now, 5, yes. We're working on buying land next to us.
But right now you have 5 acres. Tell me what you raise.
Right now we raise cows, pigs, and goats.
You own that property?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you owned that property and raised those farm animals?
Lived on the property my whole life, raised farm animals since I was about 16.
And you sell them for what?
I mainly do meat animals, so when it comes to beef, cattle, pigs, meat, goats.
But you sell them on their own hoofs?
Yes, yep, on the hoof, not by meat.
And what do you do, Mr. Foreman?
An underground shift supervisor.
What is that?
Underground miner.
Do you live close by to Mr. Moore?
Live a couple miles above him.
How long have you lived there?
Going on 5 years.
Tell me what interest you have in pigs.
Me and my buddy, we have a hobby, so to speak. He has cattle at his place, and I have raised pigs at mine.
How many acres is your house?
Just over 5.
All you raise are pigs?
Correct.
And I assume you sell the pigs for meat?
Correct.
When was the first time, Mr. Foreman, you purchased pigs from Mr. Moore?
Probably 2 years ago now.
Okay. How many did you purchase?
The first time, I want to say it was 400 and some change.
For 3?
Correct.
Okay. That was a couple of years ago.
Correct.
Did you sell those pigs?
Correct.
They're not part of your current lifestyle?
No.
And you keep them for how long before you sell them?
Until they make a certain weight, about 250, 280 pounds.
Now, when you buy them from the plaintiff or from anybody, how big are they?
The ones that I purchased from Logan were small, probably 30, 40 pounds maybe.
So they must eat a lot for them to get to 250.
A lot.
And give me some idea, because I really don't know the answer to this question. How much would you sell a 250-pound pig for?
If they're totally butchered, cut, and wrapped, it's about $800 to $900. If I'm doing the cutting and wrapping.
And if you're not?
Then I sell it for hanging weight. So whatever the animal weighs after it's butchered out, then we set a price for that. Usually $3.50 to $4 a pound.
You pay about $125 for them. You feed them for a year.
Not quite a year, but close.
Okay, well, not quite a year. And then you sell them for 6 or 7 times what you paid for them, minus the feed, whatever that is. Minus what it is to feed.
Except for there's more than just the feed. There's all the time and labor it goes into cutting and wrapping.
Absolutely. But you make a profit.
Make a profit, yes.
And you don't go that route. You sell them when they're young?
Correct.
That's your business, to sell them when they're young?
Yes.
Okay. So the first time Mr. Farman bought from you, evidently things went well. Tell me about this most recent sale where there is an issue.
Yes, so Brandon contacted me that I have a gas station that he goes to. She mentioned to him that I have pigs for sale.
Is that how you found out?
That is correct.
Okay, go.
That I had pigs for sale. And then he got my number from her. He contacted me, said that he is interested in my pigs. We set up a time for him to come meet and look at the pigs.
What date?
It was July 28th, 2022.
Okay.
And then he came and looked at the pigs then, and he liked them.
How old were they?
They were 2.5 months, which would be right around 40 to 45 pounds.
And you had 4 of them?
4, correct.
Is that how many there were in the litter or however?
No, those were just the ones I had left. There were 9 in that litter.
So you had already sold 5?
Yes.
And 4 left?
Yes.
Is that the time you usually buy them, Mr. Farman, when they're 2.5 months old?
No.
How old are they when you usually buy them?
It depends.
Depends on what?
Price, money,
okay.
Where they're at.
Well, so give me a range. What?
So these ones are relatively close. I didn't have to travel far. At the time, they seemed like a pretty decent price deal.
And what did he sell them to you for? You want to take the pigs. You didn't have any money at the moment. And what was the deal?
Logan Moore claims his family friend, Brandon Farman, owes for the cost of 4 pigs. Brandon says Logan sold him pigs that were sick.
Okay. What did he sell them to you for?
I believe for the 4 pigs and water, it was $7.20.
25, 4 pigs, and there was a water little machine that you also...
No, it was just a plastic tote with nipples on it for the pigs to drink water out of.
Okay.
There's no machine, no nothing to it.
So for $725, you got the 4. A picture of that to show me?
I do not know.
I'll have to use my imagination based upon Mr. Farman's... Oh, you have a picture of it, sir?
Your Honor.
What?
It was $740, $160 each for the pigs, and then $100 for the water.
Judge, I do not. I do not have a picture of the water.
Okay.
The water was like a 275-gallon tank with 4 nipples on the outside of it at the bottom that you can fill with water. Pigs drink out of the nipples easier than they do like a dish.
Whatever. I get the picture. Okay. Now, let's say I take your number, Mr. Farman, $725. You purchased the pigs on July 28th, 2022. Is that right?
Correct.
Did you pay him for them?
At the time that I went and looked at the pigs, I told him up front, and plain as day, I do not have the money to pay you right now, right off the bat. I don't have the money. But I was under the understanding from his relative that works at the gas station that he doesn't have the time.
No. You can't tell me what the relative at the gas station told you. You went to see the pigs.
I went to see the pigs.
You went to see the pigs, Mr. Farman, and you told me a moment ago, I said, how much were the pigs? And she's going to read back exactly what you said.
You asked him, did you pay for them? And he said, at the time I went and looked at the pigs, I told him up front, plain as day, I do not have the money to pay you right now.
Before that, there was something about $725.
Okay.
How much were they? And he said the whole thing, the 4 pigs and a watering was $725.
$720 for the pigs and the water machine.
$720.
$720.
Oh, that's what you said. You said they were $720. That was the discussion when you went and looked at the pigs. Okay, and you said, I don't want to take the pigs and the watering thing. You want to take the pigs. You didn't have any money at the moment. And what was the deal that you came up with?
That I would pay him for them when I was able to.
Nah. That I don't believe. That I don't believe.
That is the truth.
Yeah. Then he's foolish because when are you able to?
When I was able to.
What does that mean? That means you determine whether or not when and if you're going to pay for these things that you took?
It depended on when I was able to have the money available.
That was in July.
Correct.
You work in a mine.
Correct.
You work for a company?
Correct.
How long have you worked for them?
3 years.
Mm-hmm. You get paid annually or by the hour?
Annually.
And what's your pay annually?
$90,000, give or take.
Give or take a what?
I get bonuses.
Okay. You're going to get, in the month of January, a $10.99. How much did you earn last year with bonuses?
I don't know. I haven't received my bonus yet.
Oh, you haven't received it yet? Okay, so it's $90,000 base pay. Who else do you support?
My wife and 5 children.
What does your wife do?
stay-at-home mom.
When was the last time you sold any pigs?
That's been a while.
How long? Month and year?
It's been probably 6 months, 6, 7 months.
Okay. How many did you sell?
At the time, the last
6 or 7 in the last 6 months. How many did you sell?
1 or 2.
Well, I want you to think carefully. If you're on a salary and you have a wife and 5 children, that it's important if you make between $800 and $900 for each pig that you have. I want to know if it's 1 or 2.
It was 2.
And let's say I'm not going to take the higher figure, I'll take the lower figure. That's $1,600. You said between $800 and $900 each. That's $1,600 plus your income from your job.
Unfortunately, that $800 to $900 that I get for that I spoke about.
I don't understand, sir.
I have the shop. I have the space, the shop, the meat cooler, the room at my house to hang and cut animals. He comes up and he helps. We split it equally, right down the middle. So the $800 or $900, I don't get that.
Just a second. He raises cattle.
Correct.
And you split his cattle with him, and you have pigs, and he splits the pigs with you.
No. I let him use the shop and my meat cooler. The cattle's his deal. But he comes up and helps me cut and wrap the pigs.
Oh, then he doesn't get half. That's baloney. That's baloney. If you raise them, you feed them, you paid for them. If he wraps them, you're not giving him half. In any event, in any event, you have a job. You have a $90,000 plus job. You made a commitment of $720 to the plaintiff to pay for his pigs, and you paid nothing.
The pigs died.
Just a second. I read that here. Tell me when the pigs died. Tell me the month and day the pigs died, that you communicated with him. This pig died, that pig died, this pig died.
I didn't communicate with him about when the pig died or when
Did you communicate with him at all? I'm sorry, when he asked you for the money.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I was.
Okay, when he said, where's my money? That was in what month? I know when, July 28th is when you picked them up. In what month did he communicate and say to you, I want my pigs, or I want the money? Tell me.
August.
August what?
One was August 16th, one was August 17th.
Okay, so he communicated with you the 16th and the 17th of August. So by this of July.
And the first one had already died in that.
Just a second. During that time, now when did the first pig die?
A week and 3 days after I got it home.
Did you tell him?
No.
Oh, then you're going to pay for all of them, sir.
What?
You're going to pay for all of them.
No.
Oh, yes. Just show me that you said to him, one got sick, it died. I'm afraid for the others, so I just as soon give them back to you and cancel this whole deal. Show me.
I offered multiple times to take the pig.
Logan Moore has accused his family friend, Brandon Foreman, of refusing to pay for the pigs he purchased. Brandon claims Logan sold him sick pigs and only one survived.
Go ahead.
So if you went to the grocery store and you bought a bag of apples, and the apples are rotten in the middle, but the outside looked fine, you would still pay for those and just be content with them?
I'm going to give you the different example, sir, not apples. I'm going to give you an example with puppies, which I have here all the time. Your pigs were not sold to you with any health guarantee. Let's start there. Dogs, cats, animals, pet animals are usually sold through a breeder or somebody that you buy from. You have a contract that says, take the dog or the cat to the vet within the next 3 days or the next 24 hours or 48 hours. Any health deficiency in the cat or dog, we will either refund your money or give you a new cat or a new dog at the discretion of either the buyer or the seller. That's what happens. Now, you had the animals at your place for 2 weeks, and I assume you have other animals. Just assume you have other animals.
I had other pigs at the time.
Just assume you have other animals, and I also assume that you have no vet report.
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Oh.
I don't care about a bill. I want a report.
I don't have a report. I have a bill.
Then, sir, you're going to pay him his $720. You're going to pay him his $720. I don't care what the bill was. How does he know? How do I know what the pig picked up, the one that died, at your place over the course of a week and a half? What you said to me was you took the pigs and said, I'll pay him when I can. Now they're yours.
So I had other pigs at the time, full-grown pigs that were ready to go. So then I brought these other piglets home, and then the one started getting sick, so then I had to separate the pigs. So then I had to spend all this time and money giving them shots, trying to keep them healthy, and then I had to build a whole separate pen to contain them because I don't want to get the full-grown pigs getting whatever disease or whatever they had.
Did you ever call the plaintiff when the first pig got sick and said, listen, this pig is sick, and I'm not sure about the other piglets that are here, and that's in the first 2 weeks. I'd like to return them to you. He didn't have any babies at the time because he had sold 5. He had 9 in the whole litter or whatever they call it. Just show me that you said to him, one got sick, it died. I'm afraid for the others, so I just as soon give them back to you and cancel this whole deal. Show me where you did that the first 2 weeks in August.
When I first picked up those pigs,
just show me.
I don't have that.
Sir, then what you're saying is unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable. Why do I need to burden him with these sick pigs?
And the judge, you said I bought them. I didn't pay for them. But I shouldn't have to pay for them because now I had to build a whole separate pen. I had to separate them. And this is all without advising him. All without advising him and saying to him, listen, I didn't want to buy sick pigs. It looks as if these are sick pigs. I don't want the extra responsibility. I don't have the money right now. Take them back. Show me. Show me.
I offered multiple times to take the pigs back to him and the water.
Show me. Show me within the first couple of weeks when one died, so you had to separate all of them. That's the first 2 weeks in August. That's all I want to see.
Right here.
I'd like to see
August
it,
17th.
Okay, great.
The one in blue.
Shh. I'm reading. This doesn't say anything about sick pigs, sir. August 16th, 17th were the 2 dates you gave me. This was on August 17th. He says, do you have the money to me tomorrow, or I'm getting law enforcement involved? You don't say one of the pigs is sick. One of the pigs died. I'll bring them all back. You say, I'm working on getting you the money. But if this is how it is, then I will bring you back the pigs and all tonight. I have some blank coming up that has taken precedence in my finances. I'm sorry that this has been less than ideal, but this is where I am now. That doesn't say anything about pigs being sick, dying. It says, I have other things to do with my money now. That's what it says, right?
But I clearly offered to bring the pigs back.
Just a second. That's what it says. He didn't have a buyback agreement from you. Now you have the pigs. Whether they died or whether they didn't die or whether they got sick, you've had them. Now we're in January, August, September, October, November, December. We're in January. There's 6 months.
Did not expect Brandon to mention sick pigs.
They just wouldn't put on weight. They started not wanting to eat or drink anymore. Then they just got real skinny, no matter what I did or the vets did.
He never told me.
They just ended up passing away.
If it was sick, I would put them in a treated pen that I have that's actually on concrete where they cannot pick up any other diseases from the ground.
Some kind of infection.
And I make sure the animal is even safe for transport.
I wasn't going to do the blood test on him to try to figure out.
I honestly have done multiple payment plans with multiple farmers.
I shouldn't have to pay.
And I will do it in the future too.
Got frustrated.
I'm glad it's over. I don't have to chase my money anymore.
So I don't know a lot about pigs or farming or,
no.
or housing pigs, but I was really surprised at the profit margin that the defendant was explaining. If you buy the pigs at 40 pounds, not also great at math or word problem math questions. But if you buy a pig at 40 pounds for $160, you have to feed it all the way up to 280 pounds in order to sell it to anyone. You have to, I don't even want to think about how much food that requires to feed the pigs. But then your profit, even if he wasn't splitting it with whoever helps him cut and butcher the meat, is only $800 as a high figure. That seems like a very low profit margin to have pigs in your house and to have them in your backyard and build a pen with 5 kids. That just seems like a lot for a profit margin that I expected to be much higher. That's really labor-intensive work. It just blew my mind.
Yeah, different part of the.
Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với series tô màu tranh cùng với mình. Hôm nay thì mình có tô màu cho bức tranh về giỏ cà chua nha. Và đây sẽ là bức tranh mà mình sẽ tô. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ cho bức tranh nhé. Trước tiên thì chúng mình sẽ tô phần cuống và lá nha. Mình sẽ tô phần cuống cho những trái cà chua. Mình sẽ tô cả những chiếc lá nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô chiếc giỏ nha. Mình sẽ tô phần quai trước. Giờ thì cùng nhau tô màu cho những trái cà chua đỏ mọng nha. Và bức tranh của mình đã được tô màu xong rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình có tô màu tranh cho một bức tranh về một cái rổ quả vải nha. Đấy, rất là nhiều quả luôn. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ cùng với mình nhé. Đầu tiên thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho chiếc giỏ nha mọi người. Giỏ này thì mình nghĩ là mình sẽ tô màu xanh dương nha. Sẽ tô cả phần dưới này nữa. Giờ mình sẽ cùng nhau tô những trái vải nha. Trái vải thì vỏ sẽ có màu đỏ nhá. Và nó sẽ hơi sần sùi một chút xíu. Mình sẽ tô lần lượt cho tới khi hết các quả vải. Giờ thì tô cho phần lá nha mọi người. Bức tranh đã được mình tô màu xong rồi nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Nếu yêu thích series tô màu tranh của mình thì hãy like, share và để lại cho mình bình luận bên dưới nha. Tạm biệt các bạn. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh này nha. Đây sẽ là bức tranh của ngày hôm nay. Các bạn hãy cùng mình theo dõi đến cuối video để xem là mình sẽ tô màu và hoàn thiện bức tranh này như thế nào nhé. Trước tiên thì chúng mình sẽ tô màu cho vương miện nha mọi người. Vương miện mình sẽ tô màu gì đây? Mình sẽ chọn màu tím nha. Còn viên đá thì mình sẽ tô màu vàng. Đôi mắt thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu vàng nâu để tô cho cái con người trong. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô đến mái tóc nhé. Mình sẽ tô kiểu màu hồng đậm. Giờ mình sẽ tô bên này. Mình sẽ tô luôn cho cả phần đuôi nhé. Tiếp theo thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh dương để tô cho mấy cái phần ở dưới chân và cổ này. Bức tranh của mình đã được tô màu xong rồi nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Hãy like, share và subscribe để ủng hộ cho mình nha. Video của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi. Tạm biệt các bạn. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình và đến với series tô màu tranh. Hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về nhân vật Flora nha, ở trong phim Green ấy. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu nhé. Đầu tiên thì chúng ta sẽ tô màu cho cả phần mái tóc nhá. Mái tóc của bạn này thì sẽ có màu nâu nhạt nha. Giờ mình sẽ tô màu đôi cánh nhá. Đôi cánh thì sẽ có màu xanh. Kệ đi. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ tô bông hoa ở cái phần cổ này nhé. Bây giờ thì các bạn cùng với mình sẽ tô màu cho bộ váy nha. Đầu tiên là sẽ tô cái phần áo chính này thì sẽ có màu hồng đậm. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu hồng nhạt để tô cho phần còn lại của chiếc váy nha. Mình sẽ tô cả phần hai tay này nữa. Cuối cùng là chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho đôi giày nhé. Đôi giày thì mình sẽ tô màu hồng đậm nha. Và bức tranh của mình đã được tô màu xong rồi nhé. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Video của mình đây là kết thúc rồi. Tạm biệt các bạn nha. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với series tô màu tranh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho nhân vật Stella ở trong phim Phép thuật Green nha. Các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh nhé. Đầu tiên thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô phần mái tóc nha. Mái tóc thì có màu vàng này. Và mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh là xanh dương. Tô cho phần sợi tóc này. Và cái phần bàn tay này nữa. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi môi. Tiếp theo là chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô phần cái cánh nha. Cánh thì cũng có màu xanh luôn. Cuối cùng là chúng ta sẽ tô màu cho bộ đồ nha. Bộ đồ thì sẽ có màu cam. Giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho cái đôi giày này cũng màu cam luôn. Bức tranh của mình cũng đã được tô màu xong rồi nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo của mình. Tạm biệt. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình và đến với series tô màu tranh. Hôm nay thì mình có bức tranh về nhân vật Stella nha. Ở trong phim Queen và công chúa thất thường Queen ấy. Các bạn cùng với mình sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh nhé. Đầu tiên thì các bạn cùng với mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi bông tai nhé. Đôi bông tai thì mình sẽ tô màu cam ạ. Tiếp theo là tô màu cho đôi môi. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho chiếc sườn nha. Mái tóc mình tô màu vàng nha mọi người. Giờ chúng ta cùng nhau tô một bộ đồ nha. Đầu tiên là mình sử dụng màu cam. Tô cho cái phần dây cổ này, ngôi sao. Mình sẽ dùng màu cam này để tô cho tầng váy thứ 3. Tôi cho từng bài cuối cùng nha. Tiếp theo thì mình sẽ tổ chức đơ ở cái phần đôi dài. Giờ mình sẽ sử dụng là màu hồng nhạt nha, để tô cho cái phần váy tầng thứ hai này. Tô vào đây nữa. Và tô phần tất nhé. Cuối cùng là sử dụng màu tím để tô. Tím này mình sẽ tô màu cho tổng thể đôi giày nhé. Và bức tranh của mình đã được tô màu xong rồi ạ. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Nếu yêu thích series tô màu tranh của mình thì hãy like, share và ủng hộ cho mình nhé. Tạm biệt các bạn. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã cùng mình quay trở lại với series tô màu tranh. Và hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh này nha. Các bạn hãy cùng mình theo dõi đến cuối video để xem là mình sẽ hoàn thiện bức tranh này như thế nào nhé. Đầu tiên thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho mái tóc nhé. Mái tóc thì sẽ có màu nâu. Mình sẽ tô nốt về bên tóc còn lại. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho đôi môi nhé. Ở dưới này như vẫn còn phần nữa nên là mình sẽ tô nốt. Tiếp theo là tô đến chiếc áo nha. Mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh lá để tô cho những cái chi tiết hoa trên áo. Giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng Màu hồng đậm để tô cho chiếc áo này nha. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho những chiếc vòng tay nhé. Mình sẽ tô nhiều màu sắc một chút. Và như vậy là bức tranh của chúng ta cũng đã được tô màu xong rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Hãy like, share và subscribe để ủng hộ cho mình ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt các bạn.